Another day, another devaluation, baby. And today, one of the most monumental ones, that being Hyatt, baby, the one we have known and loved for so many freaking years. Check this out right here. We have some 75,000 per night Cat 8 Park Hyatts out here in the world. I was just scouring, trying to find all the differences and the types of swings that we can see. And let me tell you, folks, the swings are actually crazy. And while I will say, there are a lot of, for the at least the popular destinations like Park Hyatt in New York, a bunch of them across the world that we're gonna check literally live with you guys. We haven't seen all of them, so we're gonna check it all live. The swings are massive, and yes, we do have some 75,000 per nights. However, on the lower end side, like mid to high, mid to high-ish, not the highest end, we actually have some prices go down and actually be more affordable. In fact, some people in the Discord are noting that they're canceling their stays in favor of the new pricing and saving themselves a ton of points in a lot of cases, but we're going to go into all of it during this live. So very, very interesting. And if you guys were unaware, we have the Hyatt changes. If you've been living under a rock, this has like been looming for a little bit of time now. A lot of people were trying to get in their last second kind of bookings last night. Apparently, there was such a delay that they basically crashed the website and the internal chat wasn't working. I had some folks who were calling in that told me that there are two destinations that people are trying to book for before this huge devaluation, and that was Japan and France. So shout out to Greg for letting me know that. However, if you guys, again, were unaware, Hyatt is undergoing pretty much its most radical devaluation of, I would say, its history as of late. Going from what I would consider a moderate kind of three-tier kind of chart where you had like a low, moderate, high, where the upper ends of properties, like if we're going to the extreme at Cat 8s, you were able to book anywhere between like 35K and 45K per night max. So 45K would be the absolute max you can pay for the highest end, nicest Hyatt property in the world. Well, with that devaluation, that is now increased about, what was it, 67% difference to 75,000 max per night for a specific property. And like we theorized, it ended up being kind of true. A lot of the properties that happen to be popular and the ones that are always booked out, sure enough, most of them are between 55, 65, and in some cases 75,000 per night. However, I will say there is some decent availability at the 35K and on the old chart, but we'll get into it. And so you just have more of a dynamic, non-dynamic kind of view of of Hyatt nowadays. It's never, no one's going to call it dynamic, but it pretty much is. I mean, if I mean, the swings are absolutely incredible. We're going to look at some today that literally will have a 35K a night next to like a 65K a night, like absolutely insane. And in one way, it does actually make it a little bit cheaper. They don't have a comparison chart on this website here, but it used to be like maybe a 45K at the lowest end on a Cat 1. Now it's 3,000. On a Cat 2, maybe the lowest is 6K, whereas before it was only 75. So the swings actually go in both directions, and so you can actually find some possibly cheaper stays depending on the category that you're going to. And actually, oddly enough, I'll forget it. We'll go into it in just a second. So first and foremost, those are the changes so far. That's basically what has occurred. We have to go into a lot of the properties. So we have to search them all. I want you guys in the chat, if there's any specific properties that you've been thought about, you've thought about in the past, you're like, oh, let's see what it is now. Put them in the chat because we're going to be looking at all of them. First, I'm going to say a quick shout out, and then we'll go right back into it, which is Isaiah. Let's go. We got John. Let's go and go. Let's pop in. Hit the music. That's right. Just like Ravishing Rick Rude. We are so back, Venture. Russell, that's right. Here for a deval. Sleepy Rod, Park Hyatt Kyoto, 75K in April, one whole CSP bonus. That's right. Get one Sapphire Preferred. You pay for one night. But I will say, it might actually be worth it. It might actually be worth it. And we're going to talk about also some possibilities of more availability, hopefully, with some of these higher prices. So we'll see. We got hit that like button. North Texas, what's going on? T-Bab, what's going on? Chad's Money Minutes, what's poppin', Chad? And Cesar Joel, giving Chad the shout out, and Jamie Antonio Ventura with a timely stream. Absolutely, absolutely. So let's go into all these properties because we went through just some of the changes and stuff like that. So basically most of these properties, so they mentioned here 136 Hyatt hotels and resorts will change categories, 112 will increase while 24 will decrease. And I have seen some, after looking around, that are decreasing in category. Not many of them are decreasing in the way that we would necessarily hope, like a Cat 5 to a Cat 4, but there are some in which we can use like our Hyatt free night certificates. And one thing that is interesting, I guess, about all of this before we look at the properties are Some of these, you know, technically, even though I would never really necessarily consider this, I really wouldn't, but it's something to think about, I guess. If you have some normal Cat 4, you know, free night certificates with Hyatt, technically with devaluation, it makes them technically more valuable. So like, you know, in the past with Cat 4s, you maybe have a max of like 20,000 a night. Now we're at 25,000. You know, so that bit of a, you know, devaluation makes each free night certificate can be worth upwards to 25K per night, so long as the standard room availability and all that. So that's interesting. However, I want to also note something that kind of flew a bit under the radar, and I want to see if we can start seeing this in some way. I don't think it's come yet, but I want to start seeing if there's anything that pops up at all with, which is this right here, these new enhancements they're talking about with Hyatt. And that is, they say they're listening closely to members, and they're talking about being able to, well, one, share points digitally, which, you know, Hyatt, I mean, Hilton and Marriott's been doing it for a while. We want to be able to share points digitally with Hyatt and not just, you know, fill out a form online. However, what is interesting is Explorers Globalists and Lifetime Globalists, so these status levels above Discoverist, and they mention credit card holders of World of Hyatt cards will enjoy early access to award night availability. So I don't know what this looks like yet. I don't know if it means like, oh, you have a card holder, your status. Oh, we'll give you that 45K Park Hyatt Kyoto. And then once it releases to the public, now it's 55K, 65K. I wonder. Or if it's just totally locked, you know, for like a year out, something like that. So we'll see. So let's get started. Let's look at some properties. So we already have the first one here. And I'll be honest, I had to scour to find any properties that were 75K per night. I actually could not find that many. I looked at some of the most popular ones in the world. The first one that I found was the Park Hyatt in New York. And I'm going to try to find another 75K. I want to find it. I want to see what others out there. But the Park Hyatt in New York, in these months, yeah, September, you could see we have some decent swings here of like 55K upwards to 75K every single night. However, if we go to October, you could see there might be a little bit more of a swing. Let's see, 55K. 55K. You'll see some where it's literally like a few months ago is 35K and then all of a sudden 75, like actually crazy. But from what I could see, this Park Hyatt in New York definitely has the craziest, the most expensive stays I've seen so far. And then you can see January when not many people are going there, 35K a night. Okay, cool. Let's actually go to the Hyatt site. And so let's actually start with this. So like I mentioned, my boy Greg called me yesterday and said that he was trying to make a lot of trips happen. And one thing that's interesting for you know, that people kind of were able to take advantage of up until now is that if you're a globalist, some people may not be aware, but if you're a globalist, you can actually pre-book some stays in the future without having the points in your account. So what a lot of people did, and what Greg did since he's globalist, is he ended up booking like a ton of properties, probably like a few 100,000 points worth or a couple 100,000 points worth, whatever he actually did. Because I don't think there's a limit. He ended up booking so many of these properties out. And so you basically lock in the previous rate before the devaluation today, which ended up populating, seemed like around 9 a.m., 8 a.m. And now, and then when he does that stay, he just has have to have the points in his account like a week prior or something like that. So he'll earn all those points a week prior to the stay and then have that old discounted rate. So I thought that was fairly interesting. Okay, but what he told me was when he was on the phone with the Hyatt reps that this is the most call volume they've ever had, obviously because of this devaluation. They're not like Hilton and just drop it out of nowhere. And there were two places in especially that are way more talked about than anywhere else. No brainer on this one, but the first one is Japan. And the second one is France, probably specifically Paris, because we have some decent Hyatt properties out there. So Japan is the place that I just came back from, so I'm more excited to look at some of the properties here. So let's see what the actual damage is, all right? Let's go out like a week, and we're going to go by the calendar, so we'll see what's possible. And actually, I don't know why I'm searching by Japan. I want to actually search by Tokyo here. So let's see what Tokyo has to offer nowadays in terms of pricing. So we're going to hit by points here. And let's see. So I did look at one earlier, and I didn't look at the rest of them because one property in particular tends to just kind of sell out of award availability way sooner than the other ones, and that's the Grand Hyatt in Tokyo. So I'm going to hit view rates here. So remember, it says 45K. Which in this case actually ended up being a real thing. But there are sometimes you'll search and it'll show 45K, but then you actually go into it and there's no availability. So let's hit the points calendar and see where we're actually heading. So let's see if we can look at like next April. I was there in late April. It was a great time. If I wanted to book next year, it looks like we have some 55Ks and 45K. So this is a category 8. It's like one of like 4 category 8s in Tokyo. Definitely one that's one of the most booked up, I would say. So we have 55K, so not too bad. Let's see if May actually populates here. We do have some lower ends, 55 and 35. Let's see, in March during usually cherry blossom season, we have 55K. So nothing actually higher. I'm surprised, at least for a year out, we should say. But we do know that there are some people in the community who are trying to go in the fall. We have 55K here. And I'm pretty sure when I looked earlier, I thought this is where I found my first 65K. It wouldn't really make sense that it would be in the summer, a little bit more busy. What about May? 45, 45. I'm not really seeing the 65. And this is, that's the one thing that's kind of surprised me is like this property, when I, leading up to this, I was like, for sure, there we go, 65K in December. I was like, this property for sure is going to be much higher on average, but honestly, not seeing incredibly terribly priced hotels now, unless they're just like, all right, here's our rollout, and we're just we're waiting to kind of rug pull here. So that's the Grand Hyatt. Let's see some of these other properties, however, in Tokyo. I'm actually kind of interested to look, and I'll go back to the chat in a second, but I'm just kind of curious. I want to see the Andaz. I guess I'll check the Park Hyatt, but this one usually has a lot of availability, so I doubt we'll see anything too crazy. Let's check the Andaz, and then I want to check some lower end ones to see how far they're kind of ranging as well. So if we are going next March, pretty similar, 55K, pretty standard, 45, 55, not seeing any 65s, much like the other property. So, I mean, that's at least good to see so far. For those of you who are trying to book there, everyone just kind of assumed this is going to be just maxed out to the gills, all of these properties, for sure. However, there are a lot of 55s though. We can't really knock that. And that's where I think this devaluation, while being bad and raising the top end, I think in some cases actually not that bad. Like Ian mentioned earlier, like some prices actually went down. So I'm excited to see ones that have gone down. I'm going to be checking properties that I've been to personally, and others that I know are just super popular. And this one, no question, there's always availability here. So I'm seeing a lot more, 35s and 45s. So good to see it's not just like out of the gate, just completely wrecking people. Again, in before some sort of a rug pull. And like I said earlier, for those of you who are just kind of joining in, if you have any special properties that you've been thinking of, let me know. We'll search it live, because I'm curious. There's ones that I'm not probably considering outside of that. So we have those two. I want to actually look at the Hyatt House, because this one is typically what a lot of people like to book. However, they do end up selling out of availability fairly quickly. And see, sometimes it won't let you actually search by the calendar unless you find an actual date that it's available. Let's see if that works. While this is searching, let me see. Andaz, check the Andaz, only went up 10K. Yep, just check that out. Not too terrible, to be honest, so far. Some 55K nights now at the Andaz for sure. I want to see this Hyatt House here, because this is a category 6, which did that just go up to a 6? Was it not a 5? It must have been a 6. That's pretty interesting. I need to look at the actual charts of what is available here. Here is only suites, but we need to find a date that it's actually available. Let's see. I'm assuming in August it'll be available. Now, not as many people trying to go there in the crazy heat. All right, let's see, 20,000 a night. And actually, oddly enough, our meetup property, I'm not finding any available rooms for this one. See what I'm saying? It's very hard to find for this particular hotel. Maybe let's search like literally tomorrow. Maybe that'll work. But actually, oddly enough, our meetup hotel in Charleston, South Carolina, we're hosting the credit card meetup. Probably gonna have, I bet close to 100 people going there. That property actually went down for certain dates, not the dates that we're there, of course, but down certain dates as well. So you actually can save some points in certain cases. Yeah, this one I cannot find. We may have to revisit this one. Let's see. I recently just stayed at the Hyatt Centric in Ginza. I am curious to see what the chart looks now. This is a category 7, so not the max cat 8s. I paid $35,000 a night to stay here. However, I want to see if we do have any in the real high end. I went before these changes went live. I was like, I bet this property stays at at a decent low, like 25, 30, which is what we're seeing here, just because there usually is a lot of availability. However, oof, oh man, oh wow, right when speculation is when cherry blossom will probably hit. This year was basically late March, so maybe like pricing that in, but 55,000 a night. Oh god. Oh man, jeez, 55 a night. So because I stayed there like 3 weeks ago, we saved 20,000 a night. Not bad. We ended up saving 100,000 Hyatt points by booking before. And this is not to everybody gets in at their own time. We've all been devalued before in many different ways through all of the hotel chains. So it's it's just, if you haven't booked some of these places, it's just not your day, not your day yet. But they will have your day, because one day this 55K will probably be 100K. Let's be honest. I mean, are we ever going to stop? Does it ever stop devaluing? We don't know. But damn, 55K for a Cat 7. Woo! Man, I want to see some Cat 6s. I wonder if there's some Cat 6s that are like 50K. Oh my God. I have to see the range. What is the actual range for Cat 6? Cat 6 can go to 40K. Okay. So 7 can go to 55. 6 can go to 40. And 535. Okay, very interesting. So it seems like Cat 6, oddly enough, has the decent difference, like not as drastic of a difference as like from a 6 to a 7 or a 4 to a 5. Huh. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. Which means that means the Hyatt House in Shibuya, this one, that's very, people love this property. Cat 6. That could be 40,000 a night. 40,000 a night for a Cat 6, where we just, did 45K a night for Park Hyatt in Kyoto. Holy crap. That's crazy. That's actually pretty wild. That's actually pretty wild. Okay, so those are some of those properties. I wanted to also check out, because I was actually curious on this one before we go to actually, we'll go to Kyoto first, see what the deal is there. And then we'll go to one of my favorite properties in the world. And then we'll go to France, because apparently that's where a lot of craziness happened. And I know some people are trying to travel there. So I'm interested to see. So Park Hyatt Kyoto, I wonder if we'll even be able to populate it. Oh, we can. Points calendar. I doubt there is anything available for the Park Hyatt Kyoto regardless. I just don't think we're going to have a points night, but this is the one. Like, if it was ever going to be a 75K a night hotel, this is the one. And as you can see, no availability at all. Yeah, absolutely none. Not even last second. Nothing at all. So, yeah, that's what we figured. We're not going to be able to see any of that. However, we do have the Hyatt Regency Kyoto, which I'm not, I don't incredibly love the location of it. And the Hyatt Place. Oh, wow, I didn't realize it's Cat 3. You can use some free nights there, which actually is in a better location, I would say. That's pretty interesting. So Cat 6, we're at 30K a night. Do we have any of the max like 40s? I wonder. This one doesn't seem to sell out that much. I wouldn't be, I don't think I would personally expect to see some 40. We have some 35s, 30s. Okay, interesting. Let me see what you guys are saying before we go to France. And then we will we'll go to France in just a second. Shout out to CJ, just showing some support to the myth, the legend, Anthony Venture 1. Come on, man. You can give me Venture 1. That's like calling me the Quicksilver one, the one that has like a $49 annual fee and you can't get rid of it. Search Grand Hyatt Bahama. Our next meetup in the Bahamas, JK. I mean, that would be cool to do Bahamas, man, but that's definitely going to be probably a 65K a night, 55K a night, maybe 75K a night. That's expensive, man. We were just talking about it last night. You guys had lunch for 2 people, like $100. Like, that's crazy. But for CJ in the super chat, 5 spot, appreciate you, man. Let's do the Grand Hyatt Bahama. Let's see this property. Bahamar. Let's see. Oh, I'm excited for this one. CJ's hometown baby, hometown hero. When's like peak season for Bahamas? I'm just assuming like November. I don't actually know. I never really checked out there. So we have 30. So this is only a Cat 7? I thought it was a Cat 8, CJ. This didn't get devalued, did it? Huh. 35K. 35K. I'm not even seeing 40s. Holy crap. Is this like a when? How? This one's like decently highly sought after. I mean, I don't know. You don't hear it that much, but wow, 25s, 30s, not terrible. I mean, 35 is the most. I mean, that's on par with the old pricing at a Cat 7. So don't hate that. Don't hate that at all. Very surprised. Huh. Shout out CJ. Shout out CJ. Look at that. Maybe we can stay there after all. Never know. You never know. You never know. Yuri says meetup hotel's the same. No, it's not actually. It's dropped to like 15K a night at the lowest end that I've seen for a week after the meetup, which is kind of crazy. I believe the lowest I've ever seen was 18,000 a night, so a few thousand cheaper. MCM award all right, screw it. Let's do it. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Send some properties. We have to see. We have to see. Ian says, I think it was a 5. I thought so. The Hyatt House Shibuya. Good to know. MCM, Alila Ventana Big Sur. Let's do it. So this is a very highly, highly want. People want that property. People really want the Alila Ventana Big Sur, and for for a good reason. Let me clear up some tabs here. I got way too many tabs open. I hate that it has to open up a new one every time. All right, let's do Alila Ventana. That's too many. Alila. Big Sur. All right. Let's see, baby. I doubt we'll find even of any of, to be honest, I bet we won't even see availability unless it's like super okay. I was about to freak out. I was like 80. I was like, what? Are we going past the chart? But no, these are just for suites. These are just for suites that are the only thing that's actually available. 90,000 a night for suites. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't remember actually looking at what suite pricing was anyway prior to. Does anybody know that? Like the most suites I've ever really booked were like 55 to 63,000, like from personal experience. Did we ever have suites at 110K? Like, should I be freaking out about 110? Because that's actually pretty crazy. If not, so I would love to know suite pricing. I'm not as familiar with that. Wow, it's just premium suite. Can we not even like look at standard award availability? I mean, what the heck? That's crazy. I mean, this is a property that from what I understand is also very hard to book. 45K under the old max. Not even like during like the worst. 80,000. That's pretty crazy. Let me see. What are you guys saying here? 45K Lila Ventana. Yeah, you're right. Literally can't even check because there's no availability. What is like suite pricing? I would love to know. I would love to know what suite pricing is. For sure. Sam brings up a good point here, which is everyone must remember 75,000 chase points is indeed 750 because you can, cash out those chase points 1 cent per point, so 750 cash. So it's effectively doing a math equation every time you redeem that 75K night. Would you pay the 750 for it? Would you pay 750? Or otherwise, in some other world, you might think like, if there's something that's a different chain or something else, would you take that 750, cash that out, and just pay cash for a 450 a night or 550 a night hotel? It's a real thing to think about when you're actually doing it. And it's something that we never really had to question as far as the pricing math of it all, because it's like 45K for a Cat 8. It's like, it's always going to be a good experience. There's very few in the world like Doha, Park Hyatt, or I don't know. So a lot of the Middle Eastern countries, trying to think of some other ones that are specific. I mean, there's some in Canada that are like decent priced, cash price wise, but 45K. So ones that you can be like, not really worth it. But most of the time, 45K a night, the hotel itself is almost always over 500, usually closer to like 800, 700, 800 per night, upwards to, a couple thousand, for some of these properties that we looked at already per night. CJ, Park Guy Kyoto, no availability to even check. But, we're still waiting to see if this deal will be 75K for everything, but there's no availability to even check. But we're just assuming that's going to be, crazy, pretty crazy. So Alejandro said, Anthony, I was too busy fighting on the Discord. Who are you fighting with? My Discord? But not gonna, I thought this was gonna be worse, but it's still very good redemptions. Yes, agreed. Dem says that Hotel Toronto Hills went from 45K to 55K. Asia Cat 8, not a terrible nerf, all things considered. Yeah, not actually terrible. I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like the property is all around. The property is, I gotta get rid of these freaking tabs, man. The property is all around Japan. For the most part, we're kind of assuming to pay, or at least we should say in Tokyo, because there's some other areas in Japan that are like, not terrible. Like actually Niseko, I was looking, does not have terrible pricing, but at least for Tokyo, because of the advent of credit card YouTube, millions of blogs, and then not to mention Japan just seems to be like on everybody's list always, but more so in the last year, it seems, or honestly, the last few months, that the cash price for all foreign travelers that are going to these actual chains, not just like Japan-owned hotels that still have decent pricing, like if you're going non-name, like non-Hyatt, non-Hilton, non-Marriott, you actually get some decently cheap prices for just like Japanese hotels themselves, and some other off brands as well. But it just so happens that most of our space, we're trying to book here and on point. So cash price just kind of goes to the roof. And so they just kind of every single year just raise a category in all of these. Like Ian just pointed out that we looked at, pretty sure this Hyatt house, like just a few weeks ago was a Cat 5. Now it looks like it's a Cat 6, whereas literally maybe last year or so, it was a category 4 where you can use the free night certificate there. Which is whatever. But now we have like ridiculous amount of Cat 8s. We have the Andaz. Centric will be a Cat 8, I'm sure, at some point. It's a Cat 7, it will be 8 at some point. Toronto Hills is a category 7. I'm surprised that's not an 8, actually. And of course we have the Park Hyatt in Kyoto, Grand Hyatt Cat 8. I think we just saw, who was that? Steven who mentioned this one, no availability. I mean, we don't really have to check this one. We kind of know what we're looking at. Yeah, that's fine. We'll move this. But I wanted to showcase, because I was curious. One of my favorite stays we ever did was in Florence, and that's not Florence, South Carolina. That's Florence, Italy, mind you. Although Florence, South Carolina is kind of all right, I guess. So let's check out the Il Tornabuoni in Florence. So this I paid a difference of a lot of different nights. I booked it when it was a category 7. I paid 35K a night for like 1 or 2 nights, and then I paid like a 45K for a night, and then I ended up, because there was nothing left, I booked like 2 nights on a suite, so like 60,000 or 55,000. So it was a pretty expensive stay, but I did get low end and high end and book some suites in between. I'm curious to see, because this property infamously is very hard to find availability a lot of the time. I'm actually surprised, but this is like a couple days out. So yeah, I'm not surprised actually. But this one historically always has a hard time being able to find availability. As we can see, June empty, July. Oh, we got stuff. Well, it's July in Italy. It's going to be scorching hot. 45K. There we go. We got some 55s in September. 55s. Wait, did I miss November? Let's see. Interesting. 35s during the cold, of course. February. Okay, 45. It's crazy. 45 average now, though. Whereas, just when I went, it was 35 max. 55,000. Do we have any 65? 65 going once, going twice. Not sold. No 65s. Really? Is there seriously no 65,000s? It's actually kind of impressive that they're not that bad. Like CJ mentioned, not terrible. Not terrible. Obviously, nobody wants to pay more, but for what we kind of assumed, not the worst. Let's go to Paris. This was the second most popular bookings that people were doing via points as per the Hyatt reps. So I'm interested to see what some of these look like. I'm going to let this load for a moment. We'll go back to it. Florence, Texas has some good barbecue. We could check out Florence, Texas as well. Florence, South Carolina has a Buc-ee's. That's true. That does make it good. There's some folks on the Hyatt Capital Discord saying the Hyatt is dead like expected. Yeah, I mean, nobody's happy about it. Nobody's happy about it. We also have a little bit of jest, you know, like I'm in a good mood and I like talking about like things that are happening. Obviously, I'm never gonna be like, oh, here we go, guys. It's you know, just crying midstream. Like, what are we supposed to do? Because we've been through it. We've been through it. This sucks, right? But it's a part of the game. You sign up for that. When you get your cards, you freaking sign up for it. There should be somewhere in the fine print that says you will get devalued at some point. Forget it. I mean, look, I've been redeeming for some of these hotels last 7-8 years, and it's been like, you know, for everything. We've always had devaluations. Hyatt, I got into a little bit late in the game, maybe like 5 years ago now, 4 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. But Hilton, forget it. I mean, I get smacked in the face every day by Hilton, and that's, you know, and I appreciate that about Hilton, right? Like that's what you love. You walk into a Hilton, you get spit in the face. Like that's what you like. Anyway, what's going on, CJ? Thanks, Anthony. Thank you. Ian, what's the Park Hyatt Paris like? Was always 45K. Yeah, so let's actually look. Let's see what the Park Hyatt in Paris is like. So we got the Vendome. We also have the Louvre. We're having some issues on our Hyatt here. Let's remove some tabs. Looks like this one's broken. Let's go back to Hyatt. And trust me, this is not my computer. This is actually like Hyatt breaking because I have the fastest computer in the world now. So this is not me. You like that spelling on hotels? Not bad. Can we search? Please let me search, man. It's the whole point of the stream. It just like breaks. I don't really know why. Yeah, it just brings me to Hyatt.com. All of these are, in fact, broken. We can't search, so I'm gonna have to leave it for a moment. We'll check some ski resorts. The Park Hyatt in Paris was kind of overrated when I stayed last summer, to be honest. Interesting. Side note, the app update is very welcome. We'll have to do that. I'll have to see what the deal is. In the background, I'm just going to try to work with this here, as you can look at me. And you can look at my background and all of that. Let's see. Man, what's wrong with the website? Everybody on here right now? Is everybody on here trying to find all the pricing? We were just searching, no problem. Now we have an issue. All right, we'll give it a second. You're on technical difficulties. Yeah, on Hyatt's part. On Hyatt's part, man. Actually, I wonder if we could search a different way. We have so many more to look at. I mean, what the hell? Or what the heck, I should say. Maybe we could click Hyatt website page is busted. Sorry to tell you, but it's like always, to be honest, it's like busted a lot when we do these on lives. Maybe we can do what is it, the Vendome and the Hotel de Louvre. Can we like backdoor it real quick, maybe? Let's see. Can't search anything. Come on, man. Now I'm gonna start crying. I mean, you can't even handle it. They can't even handle it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hey, Ron, were there any changes to Park Hyatt and Niseko? I was looking earlier, so I can speak to that. Park Hyatt and Niseko actually wasn't that bad. It actually wasn't that bad at all. It was I don't think I saw. Am I correct in saying it's a Cat 8? I think it's got to be, right? Is it a Cat 7? Why do I feel like it's a Cat 7? Park Hyatt and Niseko. Because I don't remember seeing anything higher than like a 55K. Like it was mostly 45 and 55, if I'm correct in saying that's an 8, which it should be. Yeah, Hyatt for real is like tripping. We may just have to give it a moment. We may just have to give it a moment because it's just not doing a single thing. This is what I get too when I try to do Hilton. Usually Hilton gives me the big issue, but what are you gonna do? All right, we'll leave it. We'll leave it for now. Let me see. Who did I miss out on? I was scared of ski resorts. Park Hyatt Beaver Creek was 45K, now 55K to 65K, but 45K in January. Okay, so not terrible. You know, so that's not bad for sure. Yeah, like across the board, I will say, like I said, it's actually pretty hard for me to find any that were 75K. In fact, I still only found one property that was 75K. And that was the Park Hyatt in New York. I didn't see any others that were that high. I've seen 65s, stuff like that, but not that many. Should we do a poll for the first time ever while we're waiting here? Let's see. What can we do as a poll here? Let's see. Are we still booking if 65K night? Curious. Never did this before, but it looks like it's a new feature, so we'll do it. Where does that poll go? Yes, poll us. Poll us. Poll us. Let's see. Is there... Where does the poll go? Do you even see the poll? Oh, start and show. Okay, let's see. Ah, it goes on the screen. And I could put it all around. Let's put it up there. That's cool. Okay. Are we still booking a Hyatt? Let's say if it's 65,000 a night. We're not going to go extreme 75. Let's not go just a little devaluation 55. You know, that's decent, you know. But 65. And we're you know what? Let's actually, this might be a perfect time to transition now that Hyatt is just dead. Basically, Hyatt is just, we broke it. Just like we break everything. And, you know, I'm tired of people saying that. I'm tired of people saying that every time I get into something, is that how it works? Oh, you have to type 1 or 2 in the chat? Oh, okay. I didn't know that's how it works. Okay, so I guess type 1 if yes, no, or 2 if no, yes. So are we still booking Hyatt of 65K a night? Across the board, we have no's. But we do have Ian, we got Steven, we got some 1s. Okay, we have some people who are bigger ballers, because this is a perfect transition. And let me tell you why. Because as we're kind of thinking about these devaluations, we're thinking about if we are, damn, we're thinking about, are we going to spend our points there? Because in one way, we have to look at the devaluation of what it is. We have to say like, oh, you know, it's no longer 35K a night. It's now a 55K a night for a Cat 7. It's now a 65K a night for a Cat 8. We can pay upwards to 40,000 for a Category 6. Like, these are properties that at least I'm aspiring to kind of stay at. I like these higher end properties. I don't stay at less than Category 6, but no, I like to aspire to some of these higher end properties. So on average, you're paying between, you know, basically 25, 30K to 65, 75K. And that's one part of the equation is like, would you like you know, Sam said earlier, if you have a 75K a night hotel and you're going to be sending maybe chase points over and you can cash out those 75K for 750 cash, is that really worth it? Is that really worth it? Considering there are a decent amount of Cat 8s that are around that price range, like 700 cash. So like, does it make sense? You know, does it make sense to do that? Would it make sense to just cash out the 75,000 points if it was like only 75K a night, which it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It does look like it's still going to be a range between 35 and 75, maybe 55 on the average. But there is a choice now. Can I cash out those 75,000 chase points, 750 cash, and just pay cash for the hotel? Still get my elite nights, but now I could just earn back on either a welcome offer. I can earn some, you know, bonus back multipliers on the cards that I'm using. I can earn base points. Like, there is more of a math equation here than kind of meets the eye, because not all these properties are 1,000 plus that are Category 7, 8, 8s. was about to say 9, like, oh no. So there's a decent amount of strategy at play now with these higher ends, because like I've said earlier, if it's a 45K a night or a 35K a night, largely you're almost always getting a 2+ cent per point, if that's what you're kind of looking at. But as far as like a dollar amount, I should say, if you could just like otherwise pay in cash. So that's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is that we also have been nerfed on the ways we can start earning all of our chase points, right? So like, it's not just the points are now worth less or harder, like the same amount of points can't book at the same hotel. Now it's like we have all these different things that are limiting the amount of ways we can earn Hyatt points. So we have chases now, new, like they got rid of like basically the 48-month rule. It seems like now they just have pop-up jails. So like if you're deemed a turner, you're not getting, a bonus on the Sapphire cards. Right now, we do have a bonus on the Sapphire Reserve, which we could probably talk about. I might consider getting this card, just literally for cash grab on the points. But we'll talk about it. And I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on that. So like they're raising this, so like cool, they are raising those points balances, which 150,000 points. That's 2 nights at the Park Hyatt in New York in peak season. That's a little crazy to think about. But like hindering the ability to earn not only on the these kind of cards. However, I will say it's a little bit more favorable in some cases, because now you can earn both of the Sapphire bonuses. It used to be like, oh, 1 Sapphire every 4 years. Now you can kind of get both of them, although I'm hearing some people mention like, oh, I got the Reserve, I'm no longer able to get the Preferred. I don't know if that's substantiated, but I heard someone tell me that yesterday. But if you can get the Preferred 75K and get the Reserve 150K, 225,000 points, cool. Whereas just like a few months ago, prior to the revamp, Sapphire Reserve was 60K forever, and the Sapphire Preferred was 60K forever. So like now we're getting twice the amount of points that we were getting before these kind of revamps. So that's good. That helps with being able to book more Hyatt stays. Again, this is for folks who are like, they love their Hyatts, and they're going to, obviously there's a million other transfer partners. We're not saying that. We're just saying if we want to book some Hyatts, how are we restricted? So we're restricted a little bit in certain ways there. And then also, of course, ink train dying. This was the way I earned basically all of my chase points. Like, a cool 600,000+ was all from the 6 ink cards that we earned over the course of a couple of years ago. And while there are still some ways that you can kind of bypass some of this stuff, so like, they've changed it now. I don't know if I could see it, but basically, yeah, for the no annual fee ink cards. So like if you have the ink cash, ink unlimited, you can, they now have the language. I don't know how heavily enforced it actually is just yet, but they do have the language. So, some people suggest that these rules are just like for those, it's almost like a deterrent where like they don't actually have these things in play. Like in certain cases, they do have pop-up jail, but I haven't seen anybody get that on the ink cards yet. But like if you just tried and applied and hit the spend, you might get the bonus, kind of like on some Amex cards. But like the way it works now is like, as per their language, if you got it in cash, well, you no longer can get the bonus on the unlimited, and you can no longer get a bonus on the cash again. Kind of like lifetime language as it is with American Express. However, I noticed that the Preferred is kind of outside of that. So like the Preferred right now, I think we can get what is it right now? Like 100K chase ink Preferred. And so this kind of works into a little bit of strategy too. We can talk about, let's see, is Hyatt still broken? Yeah, we know it is. So the ink Preferred is 100,000 for 8,000 spends. So theoretically, if their rules are correct and you follow the rules, you can get an ink unlimited 75 to 95K or 90K, and then an ink Preferred 100K. The only thing I will suggest though that is interesting is for those of you who are like myself, who did end up getting like a good amount of these cards over the last couple of years. Like I have 4 ink cards still open. I got to cancel some of them. I have noticed that after like your second ink, prior to these changes, it was extremely hard to get your third. Whereas usually after 4, it was hard to get your 5th. Now it's like after the second one, you're just not getting it for a lot of people. But I noticed that the ink Preferred kind of bypasses that. And like if you already have 2, I'm seeing a lot more people actually get approved as a 3rd ink card, but it being the Preferred. So something I'm considering going for as well, if not the actual Reserve, then I might just grab it, to be honest. So there's that. So yeah, we were getting nerfed on the Hyatt side, and then we were also getting nerfed on the abilities to earn all of these, at least in this case, chase points to send to Hyatt if that's what you're going to be doing. On the flip side, we also do have some other ways that we can have some ability to earn a decent amount with Built. Obviously, Built now is you know, it's been a good cash grab for now, at least with Rakuten and being able to send that to Built points. You know, people are in our Discord are getting like, which is linked down in the description below, our Discord if you want to join that if you're not already. They are talking about, you know, basically hitting 100,000 on Rakuten every quarter, and then sending it over to Built and then over to Hyatt. So like we also, while also getting nerfed in one way with the amount that we could possibly earn with Chase and in some other ways to get Hyatt points, we're also have a way to earn more points than we had before with the increased welcome offers and Rakuten and Built. So it's interesting, you know, and it makes sense that these things would coincide with devaluation and more abilities to earn. So fairly interesting. And I'm surprised. Look at this poll, man. Look at this poll. 50-50. Wow. I'm not surprised, to be honest. Look at that. I can move it all over like a screensaver. So that's pretty interesting. 50-50 on if you would book it at 65 at night. How about this? Let us do another one. Let's do another poll. Let's see if this changes. Bam. Starting show. All right, we're gonna stop this poll. That one ended. Let's do a new one. So now we have a new one, and let's say they are now 75K a night. One in the chat, yes, you would book 75K a night. Two in the chat, if you would book, if you would not book 75K a night. That I'm curious about. So 65K a night, we're like, that's fine. That's the heat check. But 75, I'm wondering. It's more people, more people are saying, hell no. Really? You wouldn't do 75K? Yeah, I probably wouldn't either, to be honest. It depends. If it's Park Hyatt Kyoto, I would. It was just too magical of a stay, but otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, no. So I also want to say, Medic says delete your cookies and we'll work again. Hey, can I ask, how do I delete my cookies? Does that mean delete browsing data? Cached cookies. Okay, let's delete it. I just deleted like 100 million things. Oh, I thought I was sharing my screen. Let's see. Oh, nice. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Medic. All right. So yeah, as long as it's not the Park Hyatt in New York City. Yeah, for sure. Does it actually pick up a response? Yeah, CJ, if you just type in the chat like yes or no, it picks it up. Isn't that crazy? Come on, only 5% of you would pay 75K? I thought we had ballers in here. I'm sorry. I had you guys confused. I thought that we were the ones that are earning a lot. I heard that we're doing, you know, big things, but I guess not. I guess you guys, you know, 65K is fine. 75, no, that's too much. Sorry. This is how you boil a frog, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you boil a frog. You just keep raising, And now with Hilton, we're not even batting our eye at the, you know, at the Waldorf and Cabo, 250,000 a night. Who cares? Use a free night certificate. Who cares? You know, and that's part of it. And that's part of it. DJ, you were mistaken. You were mistaken. We don't have the ballers here. These aren't. That's for another chat for sure. That's funny. No, when you can find better by changing our dates by a few days. Yeah, I mean it's true. For the folks that have that ability to go all, you know, any time of year, hell yeah, you know, for sure, you could do that. CJ said that's too much. What's the welcome offer on the Hyatt card? Good point, actually, CJ. Let's do that. Hyatt credit card. Yeah, when are they going to raise this? Actually, perfect transition, CJ. Thank you for that. Perfect transition, because we have to talk about the cards. Because I have a theory, maybe, and we got to go into it. So let's see. It looks like no effing difference. Of course, World of Hyatt credit card earn up to 60,000, but it's actually not. It's just 30,000 after 3,000 spend, and then you earn 2 points per dollar spent on the next 15K spend, which I guess will earn you a free night certificate, which is something. But so you'll end up with 60,000 points and 2 free night certificates. Do I really care about Hyatt free night certificates that often? Not really. In fact, I literally just sold one of mine for $150 in the Discord. We have a whole buying and selling section there right now. You know, so I sold one. I sold one. I was like, who cares? And then I have one more, which I ended up being gifted from my wife. So I was like, forgot we had that one. So we'll use it for something, but whatever. But yeah, this needs to go up. Like for me to jump on this World of Hyatt card, it needs to be like 100K now. You know, I mean, no, it doesn't have to be. If you gave me 75K, I'd be happy. If you gave me, you know, maybe 60, 75K, I'd be happy with it. I increase the spend to 5K. I don't care. Make it like the Marriott, you know, Boundless card. You know, do that. Raise it. Who cares? But I just want a little bit more. Just a little bit more. The business card, however, didn't this have an elevated like 90,000 recently or 100,000? That actually did improve recently, which is not terrible. However, we have to go back to what I was saying earlier, which is the whole new enhancements that they keep kind of like talking about here, which is for the status members, and then World of Hyatt credit card members will enjoy early access to award night availability. I can't for the life of me make sense of it if they're saying that, hey, if you just get this $95 annual fee World of Hyatt card, we're going to give you the same level of benefits that we're giving to our Explorers, our Globalists, and Lifetime Globalists. I just can't imagine that. I cannot see a world where they say the 95 fee card gives you early access to award availability. If this is like, if they go into this, if they don't walk this back, they say more details coming soon. We'll see, but I just can't imagine they would do that. Even the 195 World of Hyatt card or 199 World of Hyatt business card, I just can't see it. So my thought is, maybe this is the perfect time to launch a premium card, right? This is something that's been talked about forever. There's been tons of polls over the last like 2 years, you know, in my spelling. You know, I'm trying to see if there's any Reddit threads, new premium Hyatt credit card coming. Just some people hoping, you know, what are they thinking? What's going to happen? You know, are we going to have a Cat 7 certificate and stuff like that? And so there's wish list and stuff like that. So people are kind of speculating it out. Maybe this is the time that we finally get a World of Hyatt, you know, premium card. It kind of just makes sense. I mean, all the other brands have one. We have Hilton Aspire. We have our Marriott Bonvoy Brilliance. We have Ritz-Carlton. We have these higher end cards. No reason why Hyatt shouldn't. So I just wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of what they're mentioning. Early access with the Hyatt credit card members, make it a $450 to $650 annual fee card. What could we want? What could we want out of it? Not necessarily sure. Not necessarily sure. I mean, I am sure. I know what I would want. I would expect a category 1 to 7 free night certificate. That would make me jump in and get the card, probably. But you know, what can we hope for? All right, let's see some of these Paris properties. Also, back in the chat, because I missed a lot of it. If you guys have any properties that you're interested in searching for, type it in the chat. I will search it live for you guys now that we have Hyatt working again. So the Hotel de Louvre, Cat 8. Let us see what we can reasonably expect at a decently highly sought after property. Seeing a couple 35s. We have some 55s here, 45. 55. Let's see. So, all right, 35 to 45 in January, February, which I'm assuming is a little bit more popular here. Let's see, 35, 45, 55, 65. Oof. And you know, I gotta wonder, like, are these just like all booked? And so here's the deal too. We're also on day 1. So that to me means that and with the phones being broken, you know, yesterday on Hyatt, the amount of points that are the amount of rooms that have been booked on Hyatt in probably just the last month has probably been astronomical. That I'm surprised I'm even seeing any availability for certain properties, at least these higher end ones. So like, you know, who's telling what these are all going to be once they're all freed up for the following years and like this time goes by. So like, I'm really like, day 1 is one thing, and yeah, we're already seeing some high ends, you know, 65Ks. But I'm curious what happens 6 months from now, a year from now, once all those stays are done from the people that pre-booked prior to today. I'm curious to see what it looks like a year from now, and it could be both ways, right? It could be that there's still highly booked up, and like, you know, there's 45s, they book up the 45s, they, you know, bump it to 55, then 65, then 75. But they also could have the flip side, which I'm optimistic about, which is maybe we just start seeing a little bit, in some cases 35s, but maybe we start seeing a little bit more availability in certain cases. Like less people have points to book via some of these nerfs that we've had. The points are more expensive now. Maybe there's just less overall people that can book, even if it's like a 20% hit to the entire user base for ones that are using points and miles. I mean, that could free up some serious availability and maybe have a decent effect on like, now it's not, maybe it's a 45 55k a night, not a horrible price, but way more availability. Now we can actually find availability for some of these properties. That's the problem with some of these, is like you just can't actually get any availability at any time. You can search out a year, you can do all that, you're not going to find anything. So yeah, that's the only thing I'm curious on, that I'm curious on. One thing that I'm also curious on is this one right here. So this one also decent pricing. I don't know how you actually pronounce Vendome, but we'll just say it's like that. Curious on this one to see. I really want to find, like, I do not want to end the stream until we find an additional 75k a night property. We found the Park Hyatt in New York, and that was 75k a night, but I've yet to see another 75. And never mind, here it is. Damn it. I thought it was going to take longer. 75k. Wow. The Park Hyatt Vendome in Paris, in Paris. 75k for this one night here, Saturday on August 1st. Who's, like, for real, who's booking August 1st? Is somebody actually booking that? That's crazy. That's crazy. And a lot of 65s. Wow. 75. I want to find all the 75s. Well, we won't just cap it to one. Let's find all of the 75s. Let me bump up the chair a little. Wow, 75. Man, it hurts to see it. It hurts to see it. But it's curiosity has the best of me. So we have those. What other properties am I thinking of? Oh, someone mentioned the Park Hyatt in Niseko. I wanted to quickly look at that one because it's also a popular ski destination. A lot of you folks like to go there. Let's see what these are looking like. So at least during more peak times. Let's see, 45k, 35k, 55, January, nothing. And then these just not showing available. Oh, I guess these are all booked up then. Okay. 55k night in March, April. There's some 55. So yeah, this one's just during ski season is just very hard to actually find availability. So they don't even have any singular nights around these months except for early December. Wow, look at that swing. Look at that swing from just a few days. You try to book a 5-day stay, you're paying 35, 35, then 45, 55, then 55. Like, wow. That's a crazy swing. I saw one earlier that was 35 to a 65 in like the same week. Like, holy crap. We don't have points for this. We don't have enough points to make this happen. Wow. Wow, that's wild. Huh. Oh, let me get rid of these. Wow. That's pretty interesting. Oh, damn. Sorry, CJ. I had you on the whole time. Park Hyatt Tokyo 75k. You saw? Oh, really? You didn't? I didn't even check because I just assumed. And you know what assuming means. I just assumed there's so much availability of that property. It probably wouldn't, but now you got me curious. Let's find all of these 75k properties. Park Tokyo. Is that the name? Is it called Park Tokyo? Let's see. Park Hyatt Tokyo. 45k. Let's go during more peak times. So 55. Let's see. March 65, 45 in the same week. Oh, you're right. Look at the 75. Wow. This is the most 75 I've seen. This is the Park Hyatt New York. Whoa. Try to book 13th to the 16th. Look at that swing. 45k to 75. Whoa. Heck of a swing. I realize this stream has just turned into me being like, what? dang. But it's good to know. You're not just reacting to me reacting. We're also doing research because we have to know, man. Like, if we're trying to book some of these properties, you want to know at the drop of a hat what a property is actually worth. How much you're actually you know, how much you're spending basically. Let's see. Ian asks for, let's see. The poll says 91% say no, and 9% of people say yes. Wow, interesting. Huh. Wow. What other poll ideas could we do? I wonder. Let's see. So Ian says try the Maldives. I did actually check that. Let's see. Does it block anything having the chat up? I don't think so. Let's see. Maldives. See if you guys are hanging out, you're at work or something. I'll do the searching so you don't have to. Don't tell your boss. Don't tell your boss about us. Oops, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. All right, let's see here. I was also curious because I was looking at some properties that were in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and as far as I can see, nothing really changed there. Like typically, if it's a let's say this one a little bit easier, $630 a night, the rates should be between 50,000 and like 70,000 points per night for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So I was hoping to be, I was hoping to see something crazy, but yeah, you can see 70,000 a night for a beach villa. For this one, let's see, however, the Park Hyatt, which I'm surprised to see it's only a Cat 7. Wow. Let's see Maldives Park Hyatt here. So category 7, we know that this could be upwards to 55,000 per night. So let's see what kind of swings we get here. So we have 25, we have 30 in May. What's peak time for Maldives? I'm assuming, is it like colder months for us? What's peak times? Nothing, no availability out here. 35. Not seeing anything special. Let me check now. 25, 30, 30, 25. Yeah, it doesn't look too anything special. Doesn't look special. But let's check out the Alila, which I feel like maybe more interesting. 25, 30. Not even seeing 35. Huh. 25, 30. I'm not seeing anything special. 35. Okay, there's 35, 35. 55. There you go. So we have the upper end in these December, January's. We got the upwards, the 55 max. Interesting. Okay. So we have the Maldives. What else we got here? November to April for Maldives. Oh, good to know. Good to know. What about the letter category properties? Oh, good point. Yeah, so we have some like letter category all-inclusives. Let's do St. Lucia, where we have some people who are trying to do some all-inclusives out there. Let's check that out. Let me take that off. Oh, damn. Wait a second. That better not be... let's see. This one used to be I think about 30 to 35, if I'm not mistaken. These aren't, these are standard suites, but they might only be suites at this one. I haven't looked at this one like super intensely. I just kind of look face value. I just remember seeing this one at like 35 maybe a night, 35 a night, 35,000 a night. Now we're seeing, 66 for standard suites. Huh. But is it only suites? I wish I had more info on this actual property. Let me see the secret. So this one I know, yeah, between 25, 35 is what I used to see. Cat D. Let us see. Let me actually pull up. Did this person do, what is this? Points guy? Did we do where's the category? New Hyatt changes category. I don't know, let's put E. I know there was a chart somewhere. Where was the actual chart? I would love to see the differences. And here's some of the cash prices for some of them here, as we were talking about earlier. Like, does it make sense? Does it not? Oh wow, actually the ones that we're looking at now. So St. Lucia, new moderate tier. But I want to see the chart. Who actually made the chart? Somebody made the chart of like the actual letter ones. Yeah. Where is this? That's the cat 8. See, I think this was the correct one. Yeah. All right. So let me see here. So A through F. And let's see here. All right. So yeah. So standard rooms. Yeah. Okay. So upwards to 25 now, 35, 40, and upwards to 85,000 a night for an F, which is that. This is an E for the top one. So top end is 75,000 a night. So basically, a category E is basically like a cat 8. D is a cat 7. Yeah, it's basically exactly in line. So looks like we have, what is that, 4 or 5? No, yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, this would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then F would be like a cat 9. Would be like a cat 9 basically. So interesting. Okay. So yeah, we kind of have it perfectly in line there. So yeah, these ones. But these, did we look up the St. Lucia points calendar? Let me see here. I want to see how broad. So if this is a cat D, that means we're basically cat 7. So yeah, the max will be 55. And this is a property that, a lot of people consider going to. I was looking at it myself for the heck of it. Not terrible to get down there. Curiosity. How often will we see some 55s for this particular property? All inclusive, so that kind of works into the math. Really, I need to do some all inclusives at some point. Let's see, 25, 30. All right. I wonder Valentine's Day probably be crazy for this particular secrets on Valentine's Day. You're getting scandalous. Let me check out if this would load. Let me check out if they got any availability for Valentine's Day. It just shoots up. It's just a little bit. I mean, 14, 35K. All right. Interesting. Not terrible. Not a big deal. Like these little 10Ks here and there, I'm not really like stressing too much, especially since it's been the one in a long time. It's been a long time since we had that. Any sort of devaluation. So I'm interested. Ian says, I've been watching a few Mr. and Mrs. Properties closely and nothing changed today. I was hoping a lot would open up. Yeah, literally same. This morning I was checking. I was like, let's check. I bet nobody's checking Mr. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, may have to pull the in cash out of the sock drawer. We're struggling out here. We're gonna have to actually start using our chase cards again, or just build Palladium for everything. That's what I've been doing recently when I don't have welcome offers. I guess this might be a decent transition to. We'll look at some more properties. I'm going to check. I'll check Bali Fuyukoro in just a second. But another transition is the reserve. I'm considering it as of like 2 days ago yesterday. And I'm like, I don't know, I was just kind of thinking about it. I was like, even if because basically I have an idea for a plan, not an actual plan, just an idea for a plan where I have my platinum card and I used up all the credits and I was trying to get the last of my my resis done and all those different things before I downgraded back again to a green. When I downgraded, I'm going to get a prorated refund of probably around, I would say $600, maybe $650 if I'm lucky. Maybe actually no, probably about $650 or a little bit more. So I was like, okay, why couldn't I theoretically just downgrade it? Get the $650 difference between the green and the platinum, and I could just put it towards a reserve, and then pay $150 out of pocket of the difference, because I was considering I don't know, hold the platinum a little bit longer, and that would eat into my proration for when I would eventually downgrade, probably later in the summer. But I could just do it now, get the 795, even cash out. I mean, I'm not opposed to even cashing out some points to pay the annual fee. I mean, I probably wouldn't, but I'm just considering everything. But I was thinking about it because I have some stays that I want to get done, and I don't really have any points that I want to use. I was like, I could use those travel credits kind of like really, I can use it like now, honestly. I'll always find something for edit. That's never really an issue. I'll combine it with my next like built stay. So I'm not really worried about that. We actually just got a dining chase for dining down here in Greenville, but there's a lot in Charleston, and so we're gonna have a meetup in Charleston. So I'm like, maybe can just organize it. So one of the dinners in Charleston happens to be at a Sapphire Reserve tables, and we'll use another 150 credit when that time comes after July. So I'm like, I actually have some decent use cases, and don't tell my wife, but there's a little concert she wants to watch. So like I probably could make use of that 150 StubHub, or via Coco. But I could get that 150 easy money. Like I think I'm gonna buy these tickets anyway, like soon. So I'm like, I don't know. I think I have actually a good use case for a year to get me a reserve. Only thing is I'm above 524. We know that. But I feel like it may not matter. I don't know. Something about this reserve seems to bypass certain things. Remember like we had the 4-year language, but then people had the preferred, and then like day one, they had their preferred for like a year, but then they got the reserve and got the bonus. I'm just like, maybe I can apply and get it. If not, she's at 324. She can always apply for it. But 150,000 points, that would be a good replenishment. Like I actually could really use 150K in my Chase account just to sit there. I think I have 17,000 left. And 6K spend is really nothing. I am currently working, unfortunately, not unfortunately, actually, fortunately, but 2 Hilton surpasses right now. So we have 6K spend in 6 months, but that's really not an issue to hit in 6 months. So I could just divert it all to the reserve real quick for the next 3 months, get that 150K. I'm actually really considering, because I think for the first year, easy value grab, and then I'll just downgrade to unlimited, and call it a day. Who cares? No harm, no foul. And then downgrade my platinum basically and make this replace it for then. So, because I don't think I'm gonna be flying anywhere soon, so I don't think I really need anything else. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Ian said, "Did you do a Japan video yet?" Yes. Yes, it is. Just because I have other things kind of like already being uploaded, it's going to be a little bit delayed, but I think it'll be next. I think I'll upload it next Tuesday. I think I'll upload next Tuesday or next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is actually my birthday, oddly enough. So it might be a good birthday release. That might be good. That might be good, man. Might be a good birthday release. But yeah, that'll be then. I basically just kind of framed it as like how I booked all the stuff, and then actually the Japan trip. So I did the whole video. It's already uploaded, but I have to schedule it to upload for next week. So we'll see. B-Day live stream? I might. I think I'll just be coming home from another trip too, so it might work. A little short one, but possibly. That might be cool. Okay. I wanted to see, Mr. Potato, I think you asked earlier, you said hot take, these award chart changes are neutral to positive aside from the hype Cat 8s. So I think you asked earlier what it's like the consensus. So personally, and I'm sorry, we didn't even go into some of the lower end ones that are cheaper, but we'll do it now. But basically, from what I'm seeing so far, I would say you're right. I would say outside of the crazy hype Cat 7/8s and the extremely popular places that are going to be devalued heavy, yeah, for the most part, I would say it's pretty neutral, not a huge difference, and then actually in some cases positive because yeah, there's a lot of properties that are lower. So I'll show a couple. Let me get rid of the poll. Stop the poll. Stop the cap. Let's hide that. And let's check out a couple of the properties. So this I did a little less research on the front end because I just wanted to be genuinely kind of surprised. But the only one that I did really kind of check real quick, which was in Charleston. And so this is the property that we have booked for the meetup. Now, if you guys are unaware, all the people in here, we are doing a meetup. I will be hosting this year in Charleston, South Carolina. It's going to be a great time. And I think it's going to be one of the biggest of all time in terms of sheer amount. I still, Puerto Rico, I still think is the best, but that was an amazing time. All of them are great, but Puerto Rico was great. But the dates are going to be the 5th. So the 5th is when we're actually doing the meetup, Saturday, September 5th. However, most of us are getting there 4th, 5th, and then staying to the 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th, pretty much. But the 5th is going to be an actual the meetup day. So just so you guys are aware. And the specific property that we have booked is this one right here, the Wild Dunes Sweetgrass Inn and Boardwalk Inn. It's connected to the beach. Really, really nice property. One of the few private beaches actually in Charleston, and it's I'm really excited for it. We jacked up the prices, so $32,000 a night. But I'm curious, is that standard room availability at 32? At 32, or is that a suite? I think that's a suite. Yeah. So we can see now this property specifically. After that, we're staying there. So the 10th is $15,000 a night for a category 5. That's crazy. That's crazy because when you consider this, when we look at the new chart, we are, and you can see the differences before. So prior to these changes, this property, I would almost always see it at 20, maybe 17, but it was very rare. I actually didn't see it unless it was like off-peak times. I also didn't really see 23 that often, but it was usually 20. But now it could be as low as 15, which we could see right here, which is saving a good amount of points. And like I said, I didn't really see that 17, too often. Now I'm starting to see a lot of 15s, a lot of 15s around and 20s, despite devaluation. And it's actually surprising too, because if you think about it, 15,000 points per night is the highest end category 2. The highest end category 2 is 15,000 a night, and the lowest end cat 5 is 15. That's kind of crazy. The difference is there, and then the ranges that you can possibly hit now with these new tiers. So that was the first property that I looked at, and I was like, okay, 15 a night, not bad. I love this property. When I paid for this property 3 years ago, it was 20,000 a night. Now I can actually get it a little bit cheaper in certain cases. However, when did I go? I don't remember when I went. I forget when I went, actually. I don't know. But a little bit more of a peak time will probably be around here. We do have some 30Ks, which is, it's always 20 basically. It's usually never more than that. So now, during these times you're paying 30, but still 20 during April, which is a fantastic time to go. Perfect time to go is honestly probably April, May. I think we actually went June the first time. So at least for next year, let me see this year, actually, June 2020, even 15 if you were booking. Wow. So that's largely good, cheaper. That's cheaper than before, which is crazy. Let's check out another few properties. Let me think of ones I know by heart that I've stayed at or look at a lot. Let's check out DC. I forgot you always have to type in District of Columbia. Let's see. District of Columbia. And we went in May when we went. Let's see what kind of properties we got for May. Let's see here. Let's see here. So I ended up staying at, come on, man. Can we get a, there we go. All right. A few different properties. We have Park Hyatt, which is a little bit far out. I personally stayed at this Thompson right here. Almost booked the Grand Hyatt once, but I said whatever. So I booked that one. I also booked the Regency Dulles. Oh, let me stop myself for a moment. There was one interesting. I really shouldn't even stop myself because this property is like, I really shouldn't like mention it. Not like for anything bad, but it's a property I go to all the time when I have to do a positioning drive to Atlanta when I'm flying out. Because usually I'll make the drive and just not fly out of my home airport, which not really the best option, to be honest. But so I was surprised because typically this property is that I stay at right next to the airport. Great place. It is called Hyatt Place South. Now you have two of them. You have Hyatt Place North. That's where that's where you're more likely to get shot, I would say. But if you go to Hyatt Place South, that's where it's really nice. You get, amazing people, very good time. And I was surprised because I was looking at the points calendar. I'm here all the time. The lowest now is 3,000 points for any given night. 3,000 points under this new chart. The reason I think that's impressive is that every time I've ever booked this property, it's always been 5,000. And in some cases, 6,500. So now it's actually probably going to be saving me at least 50% or more on this property because I was looking around at a lot of different dates. Like, yeah, 4,500, that's still cheaper than the 5. I've always spent 5 and around 6,500. But now we have 45, we have some 3s. I'm like, heck yeah. We have some cheaper stays now with this one. So that's one. So Hyatt Place South, baby. But let's go to DC. So I've also stayed at this Dulles one. Now that's interesting because I remember when we booked it was pretty cheap. I think maybe 9,000 a night when we stayed, and I'm seeing 7,500s, which is pretty good. I mean, it's Cat 2, so Cat 2 can be as low as 6,000 a night. So it could be as low as 6,000 a night. Interesting, and we can already see in June, which honestly is not terrible. Not a terrible time if you're gonna be out there. It's a bit on the outskirts, right? It's closer to Tyson's, Tyson's and everything, Tyson's Corner, but near the airport, all that. 6,000 points a night. I mean, really can't beat it. That's what I'm paying for category 1s usually. So I actually don't mind that at all. Let me see in May, 10,000, 7,500. So yeah, a lot of these lower end ones, not terrible. Let me check out the Thompson. I'm curious. Thompson in DC, stayed here, great property. Oh, category 4. Did this get devalued? Let me see. Hyatt DC category 4. Let me see if this populates anywhere. No, I guess it was a 4. So you can use your free night certificate there. I could have swore it was a 5 when I stayed, but yeah, I must be wrong. Yeah, I guess it was always a 4. Okay, so you can use your free night certificate there. Let's see what kind of ranges we have. We went in May. So 12. Wow, even 12. Even 12 a night for this property, it's honestly pretty fantastic. Like I remember being at this property, decently walkable actually too, and not a far taxi ride if you want to get to like the main DC area. But I remember being at this rooftop bar over here, with CJ who was in the chat, Calby, and Stan the Credit Frog. And I remember sitting like right around here, and Stan the Credit Frog was like, "First shot is on me." And we were like, "Why, man? Why are you doing this?" He's like, "Because the next one won't be on me." so Stan is a baller, and he got us all around that night, and then we got him around. But very fun property, like honestly, really nice. And for 12,000 a night, that's extremely cheap considering the cash price, I believe, was like 300 or so, 400. Let's see, for these nights for 12K. So after taxes and fees, like 250 for these particular nights. What about the which nights are we on? Or because we're on this. Let me see. If we were looking, I think the 12s were around here, 12,000 a night. How much is the cash price? So 12,000 points, and probably about after taxes and fees 250. So I mean that's still a 2 cent per point for those that follow it. Whereas a lot of the average nowadays is going to be close to like the 1.5s. Every kind of hotel seems to be trending closer to the 1 to 1.5 range, it seems, with some, obviously the higher end of all these properties are all going to come with the 2s, 3s, 4s, high-end Hiltons, Marriotts, and Hyatts. So okay, what other destinations? Let's see. Kijan says, can you check Thompson, New York? Sure, let's do it. Thompson, New York. Where actually is this Thompson? Central Park, really? Central Park. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, it's category 6, so the high end can be what? What, gentlemen? What does that mean? Category 6, that could be as high as, I'm actually forgetting, it's 40K, right? Yeah, it's 40K. Let's see. Category chart. Let's see. When are people going in? When does anybody want to go to New York? 30K a night, 25K a night. What's the lowest on this? Is it 20? 20,000. Yeah, so it could be as low as 20. Interesting. So we have 30s. I couldn't imagine going in August. Yeah, 20,000. September 40,000. So wow, we have a max. We have a 30 to a 40 swing in September, which is interesting. Not a bad time. Winter months should be cheapest, 20,000. And let's see during these times, March, April. I realized I just said who wants to go to New York at any time, and you're asking me to search Thomas. So obviously you're trying to go. Don't take me as a, you know. I actually would like to stay at this one Park Hyatt in New York. Maybe I think it would be cool, but interesting. So 25 to 30. Not very often to see more than that. No 35s or 40s. So that's pretty good to see. Not bad, especially in like March. I mean, it's still kind of cold up there, but if you can shift your dates a little bit, I mean, 20K, not terrible at all. Not terrible at all. Thompson, Madrid. I see we're a Thompson family here. We love our Thompsons, huh? I'm right there with you. Let me clean this up a little bit. Let me clean these up. How many we've looked at? My lord. We are a Thompson household. My wife loves Thompsons as well. Thompsons are her favorite brand of hotel or Thompsons. Let's see. Thompson Madrid. Let's see. Penthouse. Damn, what kind of penthouse they got? Wow, very nice. We need to find a night that actually has availability. So let's do Sunday into Monday. Oh, what am I doing? Points calendar. Let's see. Yeah. Let us see. So this is a category 6, so same. A lot of Cat 6 Thompsons actually. Let's see, 25K, so nothing too crazy. So this is still going to be, yeah, okay. So it's still going to be around that range, not terrible. Yeah, and it's kind of what I'm seeing. Like there's just so many properties. Oh, here's where you get the high end. Well, 45 is a suite. This one's probably the only one that's a standard room. So everything else is kind of sold out. Huh. Excuse me. Or actually, all these are suites are showing. Are they only suites? No, I want standard room. Let's check. Nothing. Oh, okay, 20,000 a night. When's peak time for Madrid? When are you guys going there? Premium suite, standard suite. So we can't even. What's June? 25K. Okay, not too bad. Let me see my own properties. Let me see. Let me check Cabo. San Lucas. Curious on Cabo. What do we have here? We also have to check. Let me think. Did we hit another hour? Do I have to clear my cookies again? I think I might have to clear my cookies again. Let's do it. Clear the cookies every hour. Let's see. All right. Wow, it worked. Friggin' cookies every hour. All right. So Park Hyatt, Cabo. Nice. 45,000 a night. But what's the real? What's the real? I mean, if you're trying to go this month, we got 45K. If you're trying to go in June, I don't think anything past this is going to be what most people are trying to do. Yeah, 35 at night in August. Wonder why. September, 35 at night. Let's see like decent months. Let's see October. Well, I think there's some rainy seasons. So yeah, starting November, 55K. That's right. We're still in the search for some 75s. I wonder if we'll have any. So 55, 45, 55 in February. Oh, we got another 75. We did it. Ding, ding, ding. I need to hit a buzzer every time we find a 75K. So far we have Park Hyatt in New York. We have the Park Hyatt Tokyo. We have Park Hyatt in Cabo. what was the other one? Park Hyatt in Vendôme in Paris. Those are the ones that have been 75 so far. Wow. Another 75. Wow, we got another 75 here. So definitely one that's being hit with the higher end stuff. Let's actually check. What's another popular destination? I mean, let's see. I mean, yeah. I mean, Italy doesn't really have much. I guess we could check. Let's check Athens for our infamous Grand Hyatt in Athens, where the elevator doesn't work. Let's see. Still a category 4, so you can still use your free night certificates here, which is what I did. Not available for these dates. That's fine. That's fine. I don't need it to be. I just don't. I just need the award chart. I used my free night certificate there. And I would say that's a good use of the free night certificate. But yeah, if it's still Cat 4, I wonder if we'll have the highest end of that, which is 25,000. Because I spent between 15,000 and I think 20,000 when I stayed there in June. So about 20,000 a night. It's fairly standard. Oh, it says category 3 actually. So they get upgraded to a 4, and that's because now it says 4. I think it might have been a 3 then. Ian would know. He was there too. But look at that, 15,000 a night in July. Damn, not bad, not bad, but also extremely hot. All right, interesting. Oh my God, how did I friggin' forget? Michael, thank you for Hawaii. Yes. Oh, how do we forget Hawaii? What an idiot I am. Because Hawaii is a huge destination, huge for Hyatt. People are always trying to book here. So let's look at the most popular ones on average, which is going to be Andaz Maui, Grand Hyatt Kauai, and the Hyatt Regency in Maui as well. So category 6 for the Regency in Maui. Mike Newland just stayed here recently. Shout out. And let's check for, well, I guess there might be some of you going in May, right? 25,000 a night this whole week. Not bad. 30,000, but let's see next March if there's even anything. This is kind of like peak season. Wow, even 30,000. Oh, wow. Even February, March. It's kind of like when people are kind of hitting it up. 30 and some 25s. Not terrible. It's really not terrible at all. Surprised. But let's see the more highly sought after ones. Let's see the Andaz Maui points calendar. This has to be another 75K. If there was ever going to be another 75K, I'd put money on that this was going to be one somewhere. Let's see, 55K, 35 in September. I mean, the fact that you can even, I mean, this is a property, once you get to like February, March, it's extremely hard to even find anything open. So I'd be impressed. Yeah, look at that. Not much, but at 55. Wow. I'm impressed. I'd book that. If it was 55 in Feb, or wow, even a 45 in March. See, like that's the only thing that has me a little bit interested, because I remember searching for this years ago. I don't think I actually booked it, but I remember when checking a lot. Never would find availability. 45K night didn't matter. There was never availability for around these 3 months, February, March, sometimes April, but usually around February, March. But now we're seeing 55Ks and even a little 45. So I'm like, even with one of the most popular destinations for Hyatt and one of the most popular destinations for Americans going out to Hawaii, and one of the best properties, it's not terrible. Like not terrible. And there's availability. Like, I'm really surprised that there's availability. Of course, we're a little bit out. Like, I think when I was searching, I was maybe 6 months out, something like that, but not terribly far off. But this 55 is available. So that's good. Like, I want to see, like, I wouldn't mind it if, I don't know, it's tough to say because like it's so hard for everybody to earn. But if there was more availability and a little bit higher price, I'm a little bit all right with that in some cases, because like I could not find availability for anything. Would 10,000 deter you? I don't know. Would 10,000 deter? Like, how much of the fan base and our base is being deterred by 55K a night versus 45K? For me, I don't necessarily care. I think if I want a property, I'm going to pay what I want. That's why I opted to pay like 63,000 for a couple of nights at the Il Tornabordi in Florence, because I just wanted to stay there and I wanted multiple nights. I was okay with paying the suite price. Same goes for this. Same goes for this. Let's check out but curious what your guys' thoughts are. Grand Hyatt Kauai can't even literally friggin', that's also very hard to book. Wonder if it's even harder, to be honest, to book the Grand Hyatt. Probably not, but let's see. Grand Hyatt Kauai. Can we get this property? Let's just go to off-peak time. There needs to be able to search for it. It has to be, there needs to be at least like a night available in some way to check the points calendar. There we go. Category 8. I remember when it was a 7. Let's check our peak times. Feb. So we got 45, 55. Okay. 45, 55, 45, 55. I'm surprised no 75s with these. I'm really, really impressed. Not even any 65s. Like 65s is still like a little bit rare. Wow. Wow, not terrible. Not terrible. One day I would love to stay there. One day. I don't know if I will, but it'd probably be a while. But one day I would like to go there. Maybe remove all these. Hawaii. Some of these other ones are going to be fairly standard. Doesn't look to be that crazy. Hana Maui. Goodness. Yeah. The rest of these are not necessarily aspirational. Let's see. Life on Earth. The more people click, the points price goes up. I don't think that's points we're seeing right now. I don't think the points that we're seeing right now will stay the same. Well, by that logic, that would mean a lot of these properties are not actually 55, 65, 75. They're only 45. So I don't think that's really occurring with the points price. I don't think that really occurs with that. I think it's really just a cash thing that they will raise the price depending on how often you're, clicking on it. So yeah. I don't think that's really occurring, to be honest with this. T-Buff says, depends on how many nights, but I am usually not interested in Cat 8s, only 7s. What's the reason? You only get with 7s? You don't get with 8s? If you catch my drift. Oh, Ian, that's right. Park Hyatt in Sydney, still 45K. Oh, I need to remind me. I mean, I don't know. You don't have to remind me. Koro, I have to do his Bali. I need to check Bali for him. Let's see. Sydney, Australia. Sydney's been on some people's lists lately. I'm a little surprised. People have been talking about Sydney way more often. Let's see. Park Hyatt, Sydney. What's peak time for Australia? I haven't really looked into that. What months is that? I mean, we'll find it just by clicking, I guess. I'm just assuming around here. So we have 50. So January, let's see, 55s and 35s. Look at that swing. So this must be off peak time. So must be around here is busy. 55s. Any 65s? Any 75s? Like I'm surprised we just don't see more of them. This one looks pretty cheap, to be honest. This one seems to be like very often 35 to 45, and then with some months like 55. I love for a lot of it like this, like March. But I mean, geez, yeah, a lot of 35s and 45s. That's not that bad. That's not that bad at all. Let me check for Koro. Let me check the Bali, Indonesia. Can we just yeah. Let's see here. So this is something we've been looking at a little bit in the school community. A little bit of Bali destinations for some folks. Come on, Hyatt. Don't fail me. Do not fail me. Come on, man. Please just search. All right, I'll let it go on this in the meantime. Let's see here. Guest of honor only works up to a Cat 7, right? No, it works up to category 8. I mean, now you're making me question myself because, like, technically the places I've used it at were Cat 7s. So I'm like, that turned into Cat 8s. I mean, I have used it on a Cat 8, but it turned into it after the fact. You can use it, yeah, you have to, right? No one ever questioned that before. So now you're making me double think myself. Because I've used it on there. Yeah, you have to, right? Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I don't see anything otherwise. Yeah, you can use it on there. But that's interesting. I never had the second guess that, because like I remember booking at a bunch of properties that were Cat 7s, attached my guest of honor, and then it like turned into a guest 8, a Cat 8. So I was like, whatever. But that's funny. But yeah, you can use it on yeah, I've used guest of honor on multiple Cat 8s. Yeah, you can use it anywhere. So yeah, that's no issue. So yeah, T-Bob, you don't gotta select only, only go for 7s, man. You're a little bit better looking than that, T-Bob. You can go for 8s. I think you're a solid 8, So I don't think you have any issue with that. Davo, Hyatt House for the W. Absolutely. Hyatt House for the W. Tiva said that changes everything. That's the YouTube title. Folks, I just learned something that's going to change the world. And that it's, you can actually use guest of honor Cat 8s. It feels like touring the aftermath of a hurricane, right? Yeah, we're just like walking through, like, let's let the dust settle. Let's let the dust settle. Did it go? Let me see. Did it go through? All right, we have. Let's see some Hyatts in Bali. So wow, we actually have so many different properties over here, but at least for some of the areas that people are trying to be, which is like the south side. Let's see, Grand Hyatt. The Grand Hyatt in Bali, which I know some people are starting to book, is a Cat 3, which you can use your free night certificates here. Very nice. For as cheap as 8,000, wow, or at least for right here, 8,000. 8,000. What's the cheapest for a Cat 3? Is it 8,000? I think it is. Yes, it is. So that's the cheapest you can possibly get. And there's a considerable amount. This one's 12, all of it, but a lot of 8s. I'm impressed. Not too bad. All right. Not too bad. Well, we got the Alila. Let's see here. Alila, some Seminyak. Some 20s, which is the lowest, I think. I have to keep referencing. Yeah, 620. Yeah, just making sure. I got to memorize this new chart. Okay, fairly interesting. Let's go back here. Yeah, this really does feel like an aftermath. Mike Newland, 5 spot. Appreciate you, man. Have you talked about transferring points between each other online? Yes. But did they actually roll it out? Because what Mike Newland's mentioning is the new enhancements here where it says, oh, you're going to be able to share points digitally now. So getting with the times. Hyatt points pooling share. Let's see. Has anything changed? We still have the combining request form where you got to fill this out and then email it to them and everything. Share bonus purchase points. Give the gift of bonus points, including here. I'm just gonna hide the screen in case anything pops up when I click this. Let me see. But this is gifting. That's not sharing. Points pooling. I don't think it's out. Is it? Not seeing anything. What are you guys saying? I don't think they can now, Mike. I think they're still like rolling it out, which is kind of crazy. How do you not? Like, what the heck? All the rest of them do it. Let's see, Sam. Alila Uluwatu, Cat 8 is 45K, but cash is only 650 to 750. Not the best deal. Might as well do Chase the Edit and get 2x. That's another good point, and why we're kind of, I'm looking at the reserve because, look at what Sam's saying. I mean, you can either spend, 75K a night, it's 2 nights with your 150K points at a particular property that's only 650, 750, or can you get points boost if it's available, 2 cents per point, and pay half that? It's literally, 75,000 a night, something like that, to book 2 nights, something like that. Hopefully it would be like in the edit collection. Maybe you can get some credits and benefits back. Dining credits and all those different things, but maybe you could also stack it with your travel credit and all these different things. So it makes the Sapphire Reserve, like, if I guess if nothing else, even though they do jack up the prices a bit on their portal, whereas it seems like other ones don't, if you can possibly get a points boost 2x, on a particular property, like at least I can get a visual. Sapphire Reserve points boost, because I can't access it. I don't have a thing, but does anybody just show it online somewhere? Like this 4 Seasons, let's say. Is this available? Yeah. So like what Points Guy is mentioning here, wow, look at that property. 4 Seasons, Rancho Encantado, Santa Fe. So this one, let's just say for an example, this wasn't a 4 Seasons, it was a Hyatt hotel. And it was, I don't know, maybe it was 55,000 a night. And so you can book 2 nights and you'd pay 110,000 a night if it was like a peak time. And maybe the cash price is only, 600 a night. So it could be 1,200 cash or 110,000 points, which is pretty close, like $150 difference basically on like cashing the points out and paying. But then you have to factor in also, like, you're paying cash for the property, you can get some points back for all of it. So that's a factor. Or if you have the reserve and it happens to be an edit collection, or even if it doesn't, if it's just points boost, which, correct me if I'm wrong, actually just educate me because I never had the reserves. I don't know for sure, but if it's points boost, does that automatically mean it's edit, or are there points boost properties that are not edit? Because I'm actually not entirely sure at this moment. But let's say if it is edit, this guy's paying, 30,000 points a night instead of the, I guess what would be 55,000 a night if it was Hyatt points. So keep them as Chase points. And then, you could book it 2 nights and save basically half the points. And then you'll still get your breakfast or 2, $100 property credit, which is more than you would get by just booking Hyatt direct. Even if you were a globalist, you wouldn't get as many, at least tangible dollar amount benefits as you would with booking direct. So there's some real math to consider now, and making me consider even more getting the reserve. That you're correct on that calculation. It's just that even if they do jack up the prices, there might be a case where you could book the exact same property for way less points, or even marginally less points, and maybe you can have some of these benefits and all those different things, and be able to earn other aspects of it. So it's pretty interesting. It is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. And actually, let me ask you, with the reserve who we're talking to, if you do points boost and you're paying with points, I know Chase is very good about, like, when you do like airlines and stuff like that, it's technically like a cash booking on their end, the way they book it. Is it the same for when you're booking through points boost and you're using your points? Like, do you earn base points for the stay, even though you used points to book this property? Like, say I redeemed 100,000 points, it was a 1,000-night stay. Would I end up earning like 4,000 Hyatt points, 4 points, base points, even though I paid all points? Like, I wonder, because I know that they'll do that with some airlines, stuff like that. It'll register as like a cash booking through the portal, even though you're using points. Is it the same for if you're doing points boost and all that? I'm curious, because that's some real math there. That's some real math there. Sam says they even have promotions, and then remember you can price match. Oh, true. Isn't that like a newer thing? Didn't we see that yesterday? That's pretty interesting. but only if it says eligible. Oh, wow. So, So you were able to get IHG points by booking through Points Boost using your Chase points for a stay. If it is a hotel loyalty eligible, you will get points, nights, credits, and status perks. So, I mean, that is really working into the math. Now, again, not every property is edit. And this is part of, and you guys are saying that it can be points boost and not be edit, right? Like it could be a random, I don't know, it won't be, but like a Holiday Inn that's points boost like 2x. Like it's not going to be an edit collection. Like that can be segmented. Not every points boost is an edit. Is that correct? Because if so, that's pretty interesting. And it depends on the property. We stayed at a Holiday Inn, didn't show up on the app, but for Kimpton, it did show. So like IHG, so maybe like the bigger IHG, Hyatts and whatnot, Hilton. Because that works into some big math. If you're able to do points boost and get 2x, or even on the lower, like even if you have a Sapphire preferred, honestly, at 1.65 in certain cases, or yeah, 1.65, that's pretty interesting to consider. Considering most of these Hyatt redemptions, with the difference of the highest end ones, which is I guess is where the points boost will end up being anyway, you're really not even getting like 2 cents per point like we once were years ago. Okay, good. Now I know. Thank you, Alejandro. Yeah, so not every points boost property is an edit property. So yeah, there could just be some regular like Hyatt Thompsons, like we talked about earlier, and 15,000 a night for Hyatt Direct. Okay, cool. 30,000 for 2 nights. Or if it happens to be points boost, 2x back or even 1.65, instead of 30,000 points, you can maybe use only 15 or 20,000. Book the exact same hotel, and then you'll still earn 4 points per dollar spent, hopefully, if it works, through the property itself. So you'll earn an additional, whatever the cash price would have been, maybe it was, I don't know, $500, earn an extra 2,000 Hyatt points, your status benefit, all of that. And then that's not even factoring in if we happen to find a property that happens to be edit, that would be a Hyatt anyway. You're going to get an extra $100, extra $100 there. Experience credit and daily credits. Yeah. Oh, it shows an edit icon, but it will show loyalty eligible as well. I see. Okay. So they actually show like, edit property, and then be like, hotel loyalty eligible as well. A little like a sticker or branding on it that shows that, like we have with the FHR and hotel collection properties. Yuri said, I just checked. I got base points and extra points at a Marriott when I booked points plus cash. Okay, interesting. Alejandro, I've seen Thompson's like Cat 4 or 5 at 20K a night on the edit. I saw one in New York City, and before the deval was 5K more through the edit for the dates I was looking for, but with all the benefits. Yeah, like if you have to pay 5,000 more chase points, even if all else are equal, pay 5,000 more chase points, but if it's edit all day long, I take that. I'm taking that $100 credit and, a couple $100 in breakfast credits, something like that, or $100 in breakfast credits, what have you. So it's interesting math, man. I really think I'm just gonna grab this reserve. I think I'm gonna try and grab this reserve real quick. Hit it and quit it real quick. Give me that 150K, and then honestly experience it. Like play around with the portal, use some edit. I'm not opposed to it. So what the heck? Guys are making me think. Learning to travel. He said, yikes. I saw on Reddit, guy has Park Hyatt Kyoto, booked 4 nights. How do you find 4 nights? That's crazy. At 45K each. Overnight jumped to 75K per night. So 120 more for the same stay. But how did he book it where it went up? Are you saying just like the same nights that he booked jumped to the 75? Because where is that? Because I can't find any availability for that. It's not like his price went up because he locked it in, correct? Because there's no availability for Park Hyatt Kyoto at all. I mean, heck, I got 1 night and I searched for 9 months and never found another night. So I want to know what he's doing. That he got 4, to be honest. And I had alerts set. Yeah, this is nothing. Nothing. How is he even seeing that it's 75? Where's that Reddit thread? Where is he? Send the Reddit thread. Send the location. I had 4 nights in March. Got lucky at the right time. He already had a book checked after deval. Where? I saw on Reddit. Which Reddit thread? I'm gonna find this right now. I'm gonna find this right now. So I'm calling BS. How did he find it? Oh, really? If you search for 4 nights, Park Hyatt released more availability. Maybe that's let's see. Maybe I'm the dummy here, which we know already anyway. But oh yeah, wasn't that a thing? That's right. Somebody warned me about that. They were like, oh, you know, if you're not doing the it's only 3. If you're not searching 4, like you're not finding anything anymore. That's right. I forgot someone told me about that. Is that 4 nights? Wait, I'm searching. All right. Not specifically. Can it be more? 3 to 4 nights gets you more. All right, let's see. This is some good testing here. Friggin'. All right, let me. No. Okay. Let's see here. 4 nights. This would be so crazy if so. Because I did an incredible disservice if I can't find anything. Nothing. Oh! Saw it. I saw you. Wait. Where to go? Where did you go, you mother effer? I saw a 75K right there. You got rewind it. You saw it. I saw 75 there. Huh. You can't hide from me. Rewind the stream. I can rewind the stream. Trying to hide? Hold up. Let's go to my own stream. So this is going to be good inception here. Can you hear it? Did you really just book it? All right, let's see. There it out. You saw that. Hold up. God, he does things so slow, this streamer, whoever this is. You search so slow, your stupid shirt. And your freaking AnthonyVenture.com background. Unbelievable. Let's see, points calendar. Okay, I think it was right in October, right? Forget you. Okay, whatever. You guys saw it. All right. You saw it. You saw that. Why can't I stop it? Freaking. Oh God. Right there. 75 and 55. Whoa, I didn't even see that. This is the first time seeing. So 55 and 75. Who just booked that? Did Learning Travel really just book that? You ruined the stream, bud. You ruined the stream. Oh, no. I wasn't even sharing my screen. Idiot. All right. There. 55 and 75. I got it. Me and my stupid face. 55 and 75. Wow. Okay. Can't believe I didn't share the screen. What an idiot. Restart the website. Oh, goodness gracious. I rewinded. I see 55 and 75. Posted a screen. Thanks. The fact that, yeah, I mean, what the heck? Unless it's like, I don't know. Let's try again. Let's see, because I don't think I searched everywhere. Let's see. Plum. Nothing. I mean, to be honest, it is quite possible that was like just released. Oh, wow. Damn, you guys are right. Frick. You could book next May right now? See, like, I would book it. If I had the points, I would. 75, 65, 55. 220,000. Wait, are these also? Oh, room. Wait, what? That's weird. Why does it show that like that? So 220,000 for 3 nights. Obviously it's a cash price is always going to work. That's a 3 cent per point probably, or 2.5 cent per point around that time. But I would, that's worth it to me. It was the best stay of my entire life for one night, and we got late checkout at 4 p.m. But I'm actually, wow, you guys are way better than me, man. I had no idea if you search by like 3 that you would find more availability. Someone told me recently, but I didn't really consider it. Wow. So we do have some nights if you guys want to grab it. Anybody booking that? Who's the brave soul in this chat? Who's going to pay 220 right now during May? After everything. Wow. Wow. 75K might still be too much even for Park Hyatt Kyoto for me personally, since I prioritize going out and about when traveling. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, but that's a perfect property for that, man. It's a great property, like the location wise. Oof. It was just money to just come down, walk in that whole district and everything. Like, that was fun. It was super fun. Great place. There's also some other there's also some Hilton ones that are not far from there either, which you can do. But yeah, remember, you can book 4 nights for 220K, then call in Hyatt agent to reduce to 2 nights, only spend 110K. Damn, Sam's putting us onto some game. I feel like you've mentioned this in the Discord before. So yeah, you can book the 220K, have them reduce to 2 nights. That's so true. Friggin' genius, man. You're killing it. And also Sam's doing points advance. So if you're, like we talked about earlier, if you're globalist, friggin' book the 3 nights, get 220K. And what do they require? Like a week prior? Like a week prior, just have 220 in your account. You could book it, or do what he said, reduce it to half. Yeah, Sam is the MVP. That's the GOAT. That's the GOAT right there. Holy crap, that's crazy. Dr. Points and Miles. I was gifted a guest of honor cert and started a chat to get it applied to a stay at Secrets. Kept kind of in March. Next thing I know, my reservation got canceled, and an hour later, they still can't get it fixed. Really? Oh Lord. Sorry to hear. I'm sorry to hear, man. That's terrible. See, that's always in the back of my mind. That's always in the back of my mind anytime I call them. I'm just like, don't accidentally like cancel me for some reason. Because I feel like it happens. It never happened to me, but anytime they mess with it, I'm like, oh, don't touch it. Don't mess with anything. However, I'm wondering why you're using a guest of honor here. That's what I was curious on, if it was an all-inclusive. Aren't you getting everything you would pretty much need from the all-inclusive? Unless you're like renting a car or something, and the property's owned by, or the parking structure is owned by the property, which probably is. But what's the reason for that? I'm curious. Using the guest of honor and all-inclusive. Simply Andy, what's going on, Andy? Andy's been trekking hard. He also has a YouTube channel in the Points and Miles game. Hell yeah! I just learned that the creator meetups are talked about in your Discord. Been missing out. Heck yeah, yeah, man. That's the place. The Venture Capital Discord, linked in the description. That's the place where all meetups occur. Like the great connector for the last 4 meetups we've had. People just kind of chatting there and what have you. Very, very cool. At least the big one that we do every year. Stuff like that. So for sure. Alejandro, yeah, thank God I bought a couple of guest honors before this, just in case. 1 eBay, 1 upgrade, my trip 1. Nice. One of guest of honor squared. You can get club access for free with guest of honor. Oh, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Do you guys really care about club access though? You really care about it? Every time I go to a club access at a Hyatt, I'm like, this place is a dump. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just like, who cares? What's the deal? But yeah, I don't know. Although actually, yeah, some of them are nice. Where do we just go? Was that a Hyatt? Where were we just staying? No, that was an Intercontinental in Atlanta. The club was very nice. They had really good foods in the club access. So I'm sure there's some of them like that. Mike Dillon says, I have a Zoom call tonight with Julian from Points Path. If anybody has any questions, you could DM me privately. Very nice. Very nice, Mike Newland. Love it. Let him know. Let him know if he wants to sponsor a channel. we're open to it, so let them know. No, I'm sure they're very cool, very cool. A lot of people have been talking about PointsPath recently, and I think who are they integrated with now? Aren't they integrated with somebody? With some, is it Amex? Forget who they're integrated with. Stand on Giant. What happened with the Guest of Honor? Can you not buy them anymore? No, you can. No issues there. No differences. Joe Barreto. Hola, papi. What's going on? What's going on, Joe? What is poppin'? Mr. Livestream King himself giving us his time today. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, the goat. Absolutely. We're just going through some Hyatt stuff. And yeah, I think we have a decent amount. Back to our conversation a little bit earlier. Medic just looked up Thompson Dallas, 9.7K more points. Plus, you get the credit for the stay, $100 credit, and you could drop the points price with the 250 credit as well. Yeah, I think this, if nothing else, for like majority properties, it's kind of like, I don't know. It kind of just kind of makes sense, It kind of just makes sense to get the reserve. Like, it makes the reserve look a little bit better. I'll just say that. I feel like a lot of people will get multiple nights Park Hyatt Kyoto or using their concierge benefit. I wouldn't be surprised. Michael Wong was telling me like he was able to get a few more nights just by booking last second. I was checking, man. I couldn't find nothing. But I would have. Actually, I couldn't have anyway because I didn't have enough points left. But let's go Giant God tier. He might do this. Heck yeah. Joe's at work. I love you. You as well, man. You as well. You're at work. Heck yeah. Make that money. Make that shmoney. Yeah, so I'm really considering this reserve. Might have to grab it. You actually might have to grab it. It was me. Yeah, that was you earlier. One of those Hyatt playing games glitches. What did I miss? I feel like I missed something earlier. Let's see. Sam asked, do you get the hotel points based on the cost of the room pre-boost 1,000 or the amount of cash equivalent you are 2x boosting? So 50 is 500. No, I think it's just... No, I think it's, pre-boost. I think it's like, if you're going to be booking $1,000 hotel, it's 100,000 points. But if your points boost, it'll be 50. Something like that to give you that 2 cent, per point kind of standard that they're trying to employ there. Others, Maui hasn't changed. Yeah. No, I mean Maui, we didn't see a 75, which I was surprised. Yeah, we saw really not bad. I think we may have saw 55K, but not too bad, honestly. Yeah. Ian says, I'm going to Australia in November. Looking forward to it. Delta 1 on my way there. Emirates first class on the way back. Well, hopefully you're all good, Ian. I hope it's not like routing you through. I mean, I think it'll be fine by November, but you got to route through Doha, I'm sure, to head back over. A lot of folks do. But Delta 1 on the way there. Where are you flying from, Ian, that you got Delta 1? Like there. I'm actually curious to hear what's your starting airport. Perhaps the death of Hyatt was great. The rumors about Hyatt's death have been greatly exaggerated. Yes, this is definitely not the end of Hyatt, I would say. I think it would take a lot. And part of it is just, I've said it before, I'll say it again. People mock the whole, I transferred to Hyatt. What are you, a newbie? And I think, there's an element to that. It's like it's just way to get easy value. Most people aren't talking about the higher end transfer partners. A lot of these issuers have, Chase specifically. But I think part of it is just most of my best stays ever. And I've redeemed, how many have I redeemed? Let's actually see, because it's honestly split between Hilton and Hyatt. I think Hilton conservatively in the last, let's say, year, because that's been the brunt of my crazy travels in the last year. Probably redeemed, I don't know, if I had to guess, 1.5 million Hilton. No, it's got to be more. Maybe 1.5 to 2 million Hilton. No, it can't be that many. Could it be that many? There's also free nights in there, so I'm not really factoring. And then probably like, I don't know, maybe like 5 free nights and 1.5 million Hilton or something like that, or 1 to 1.5 million, something like that. What we'll call 1 to 1.5 million Hilton. For Hyatt, I've redeemed probably about Probably about 500, 600,000 Hyatt. So about 600,000 Hyatt, and call it maybe double that Hilton. One and a half, 1.2, 1.5 million Hilton. All amazing stays. I loved all my stays, but the ones that for some reason that have been the most memorable all happen to be Hyatts. like Hiltons, I have amazing experiences with. I got like some of the best, and a lot of the times it's not even necessarily that they're Hiltons, that they're SLHs that I use with Hilton points. But for whatever reason, man, every time I redeem for something big with Hyatt, it just happens to be like one of the best stays ever. So I don't know. There's just they're really nice properties. They're extremely nice. Never really have a bad experience with them. So it's a little tough. It's a little tough to think about. Yeah. Real rewards guru. What's the deal with the Hyatt we were all staying at over Labor Day? AV price go up or down? So during our meetup, price go up. Price only go up during meetup, like 32,000 a night. I would not rebook, and not just because you're not going to get a better price, but also because you're probably just never going to be able to rebook it because there is no availability at all. Actually, unless the suites are available. Let me look. But I know recently people have been paying cash actually on certain nights just because there's no other availability. As near as that I can tell, legit, I'm not even kidding. I think we probably have about 55 people on points. 55 people fully on points, which is nuts. There's some people on cash too. I'm not even factoring in, but for points. So 4th to the 8th. Nothing available for 4th to the 8th. Let's see if there's just one night, 4th to the 5th. The suite's available, the 4th to the 5th. I guess I could just do the calendar, right? But whatever. 5 to 6, nothing. Oh god. All right, so yeah, pretty much 4, 5, 6 is not, because that's when the majority of people are staying till. But 7 and 8 are available at 20K a night, so that's not bad. So decent pricing there. Yeah, so definitely wouldn't cancel because it's very likely the availability doesn't actually even get put back into the system, and so you won't even be able to rebook it. So yeah, definitely not something I would do. Yeah, you won't get a cheaper price for sure. Unless you're gonna stay longer, then yeah, extend your stay with 20,000 points, sure. But yeah, but this is the property. If you guys are coming, meetup day is the 5th. Hell yeah, come on down. And you don't have to stay at this property. Obviously, the meetup is going to be in downtown Charleston, so there's plenty of other properties in Charleston to stay at. I always recommend the Mills House by Hilton. Great, one of my favorite stays ever. However, if you're going to be staying, they have recently remodeled the Hyatt House that was on King Street. These are the same property. Yeah, these are the same property. It says newly renovated, but this one's opening soon. So once this opens, this one's gonna remove. But yeah, the low line is the new Hyatt House. Basically, it's now by JDV. This is likely it's Cat 4, so you can use your free night certificates there, so that's not bad. And I'm assuming during those dates it'll probably be like 20,000 a night too. I wouldn't be surprised. As far as Hyatt is concerned, I mean, if you stay in Mount Pleasant, it's not very pleasant up there, to be honest, but it's a little cheaper and point. Point. Am I even my points? What am I doing? Share the points. A little bit cheaper points price, just not a great area, and it's a little bit further, but not terribly farther, because like basically will be basically we'll be doing the meetup down here, downtown, and our hotel is all the way over here in the Isle of Palms. Like I said, one of the few places that has private beaches for the hotels and stuff. So it's gonna be nice. It's about 35-minute drive to get to downtown, but I don't know. I don't think it's the biggest deal. A lot of people will be carpooling, Ubering, and stuff like that. I don't think it's terrible. But I think it's going to be worth it. It's the huge beach access and all of that. But if you got to stay downtown, that's perfect too. That's really good. There's also a Mr. and Mrs. Smith that I've always wanted to book. It is under FHR as well, 0 George Street. Pretty boutique and but pretty expensive. However, 48,000 for a night. Cash price 733. It's actually not bad. It's actually not terrible, and it's but it's under FHR and probably edit. I wouldn't be surprised. So something to consider. Overflow goes to the Hyatt house. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 55 people or 55 rooms. No, not 55 people. No, probably over 100 people. Literally 55 rooms booked on points, which is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Bruce says, Sam, what's going on? Possible glitch right now? Is this something you want to share with 100? Because if you share this with me, I'm going to be putting it out there. Do we want to share this with 112 people? Whatever the glitch is. But I kind of want to know. Seeing Grand Hyatt Taipei at 12K for every single night. Oh, let's look. everybody go. Taipei. How close is it to the 101, man? Wait, where though? Or when? Grand Hyatt Taipei at 12K for every single night? Like, what? This has to be, I'm assuming, a Cat 3. Yes, exactly, Cat 3. Possible glitch. Let's see. 12,000. 12,000. 12,000. Everything is 12. He's right. Everything's 12, baby. Everything's 12. But could that just be that? Actually, no, 115K or a couple 15Ks next March. So no, I think it probably is legit. Is anybody staying there? I mean, how many people? Honestly, I don't think that many people are traveling to Taipei. It's on my bucket lists, but I don't think that many people are going there. Maybe I'm crazy. That's a pretty good price. I mean, heck, 12K? I mean, what the heck? I mean, it's a Cat 3. You know, it's the same as like the Grand Hyatt in Athens, but whew, Grand Hyatt Taipei. Man, I would love to go there. What's like the, I wonder what like the location's like. Now we're just spitballing here. Now we're just having fun. Taipei. Let's see here. Is the Grand Hyatt literally? Oh wow, it's right across the street from the 101. Very cool. Very cool. Did you guys see when Alex Honnold free soloed that? If you could consider free solo, free climb that, the 101. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Ah, I'd love to go there. And I was so close too. I was like right here. You know, could have easily jumped over. Bucket list, man. One day. One day. Interesting. 2 spot for Mr. Big Kurt. Thank you, sir. Didn't even say anything. That's how you know he's a baller. So thank you, Big Kurt, for that and being here. Appreciate it. Everybody hanging out with me on a random, at almost 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, man, for these changes. I appreciate everybody who's here. I know I'm not really live as much as I used to. I don't even know if that's even, who cares, but it's been like a once a month kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm just happy you guys are hanging out. We have some funny news and stuff. Not funny news, but you know, things. Medic said Wild Dunes from September 4th, Hyatt showing 1939, Chase showing 2583 after resort fees. Points boost 150K plus 331. Could price match to drop a little bit. So if we break that down, what did I spend? I spent 80,000 for 4 nights. So it is promptly double, unfortunately. But if you can price match it a little bit, like if you can get that down to like a 120, it's not terribly. I mean, you're paying like an extra 2 nights, but you know, you have access to the hotel since it's sold out. Not terrible. I don't hate that. A little bit of cash, not a big deal. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Vincent Pasquale, 2 spot for your next Hyatt stay. Thank you for that. Thanks. That will, well, I am Discoverist. I've stayed enough on my own account to be Discoverist. So don't need to pay for the water. And honestly, I don't want that water anyway. Most of the water they have is freaking Dasani's that have magnesium sulfate in them to make you more thirsty as you drink it. I'm not interested. Not interested at all. But so yeah, I'll use the $2 and we'll buy some Fuji. So thank you for that, Vincent. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, sir. Peter Golf says, was able to get the Park Hyatt Milan. Nice. I had that booked as well. Didn't stay there, but I booked it last night for my honeymoon next year. So that was nice, but it was more than 13 months out for Zurich. Park Hyatt Milan. I doubt this would be one that would be 75, but I'm willing to check it out. I would be surprised. I would even be surprised if they even showed a 65K at all. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. 45. What about the rest of May? 45. Ain't nobody's doing that. Oh, wow. Oh, damn. We have a 75 in September. Oh, that's basically what that's when I went. I was going to, my original booking was last September at literally the 3rd, I believe. Yeah, it was the 3rd. And I booked it for 45K. Now it's 75. Wow. Wow, we found 5. We found 5 75K Park, and they're all Park Hyatts, actually. Every single one that we found. Yeah. Those are the only ones Park Hyatts have been the only ones we found that had 75K. Wow, a lot of 75K. That's, damn, I stand corrected. I did not think it would be that sought after. Huh. Dang. Not a lot of business travelers through there, but frick. That's pretty wild. Taipei is nice. Make sure you eat at the restaurant, not the lounge, and next to the 101. Very cool. Very cool. Heck yeah. AA Ron said, I need to go to Loy Como so I can stand on the same balcony Anakin Skywalker said his infamous Coruscant speech. I don't want to play it because I might get an issue on the account, but huh. Oh, really? Where is it? Where is it on the map? Dang. Pretty crazy. That's a good bucket list thing. I thought we would see some crazy scenes, but heck yeah, go for it. Star Wars reference. Sorry, yeah, I never watched it, but it's good to know that we have a special thing there. What has this devalue done to Miraval properties? Where's the nearest Miraval that I could think of? God, I have so many tabs open. Why can't I think? Isn't there one in Greece? No. Caribbean then? Maryville, Austin. Why can't I consider? Adults only. Damn. Mike Newland, I know you out in Texas. Is this where you're going? Let's see. Oh, what the heck? What happened? Check a different day. Miraval. Hello? Can we get something going, man? I work Hyatt like a dog, man. It's been like 2.5 hours and I just keep being like, why aren't you faster? Why aren't you faster? Which, all right, I'll have to give it a second. Oh, 3-day stay. Ah, I know that. I know that. Interesting. Come on, man. Go a little faster. Lila Ventana, did we do that? What's going on, Daniel? Yes. Yes, we did. Was that? Huh. I'm actually curious. Is that one that we could have done the 3-day trick? It's not even popping up, Mike. What the heck? Let me relook at Alila, because I think there was no availability at all, but I think it's because I was only doing a single night. I'm curious if we could do the trick like Sam said from the Park Hyatt Kyoto, book a few nights, maybe something's available. Nothing. Damn, what's the trick for Ventana? Nothing. Wow. No availability for anything. Huh. Why? Interesting. Interesting. Love me some. What's that? Let me see. Miraval. Let's see. 3. Can I not even? Oh, yeah, points. Wow, look at this place. Let's see. So these are their own special things, huh? So we have a weird pricing, 45, 50K. Yeah, 50K. Let's see, anything higher than 50, I wonder. Seems to be promptly 45 and 50. Da, 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 da. 45, 50. Yeah, it looks like nothing. Looks like they're in that range, which is pretty interesting. Chance Clinton, am I doing something wrong? On those Maui points look the same as they did 3 months ago for September. Yeah, no, you're doing it right. And you're doing it right. We looked as well. We saw some that were a little bit advanced, but it seemed most of them were pretty much not terribly, and with availability. I mean, I think we saw in next March. I mean, you have to search for like the heavier days, months, so like February, March, sometimes May. But March, I think we saw 55Ks, but not 75 like I was expecting, not 65. Oh, Daniel said you had 168 night. Wow, how did I do that? 186 nights checked. What? Let's see. Is it actually the single most? I mean, I guess because it's the US, right? Is there? Because like I would argue the Park Hyatt Kyoto, but oh, there we go. I would argue the Park Hyatt Kyoto, but you might be right. Big Sur might be the hardest to book. Oh, right. This is what we were looking at earlier. I forgot. We only had suites available when we were checking earlier. It was like 90 to 110. So I'm still curious. I don't know if anybody knows, like, what were the suites prices prior to the devaluation? Because now 110,000 a night. I know this property can be like, I think 3,000 a night in certain cases. But 110 or 90 is crazy work for suites, because I've paid for suites in the 60 range, 60K range prior to this, but like 110, oof, that's rough. Like 3-day stay paying 330, oof. That might be crazy. So I'm wondering what that would be. I've seen 70K Miraval Austin, interesting. 90K for suites. So okay, so maybe it's not necessarily too devalued then. Yeah. Why use many word when few word do tricks? So right, Aaron. No deval. No, not as bad. Hyatt, no dead. Did you stay at a Ryokan in Japan? No, did not. And I'm actually glad I didn't. I'm glad we opted into the chains, because honestly, Japan is the country that spoke the least English of any place. And of course, I always do my part. I try to learn as much as I can prior to leading up to the trip. I learn a lot while I'm there as far as Japanese and any other language. But I just think it would have been not as I think it would have been not easy for my first time going there personally. So did not, but maybe next time I'd be down, because now I got my Japanese on Duolingo now, so I'm not changing it now. I'm just gonna keep it as Japan, because we'll be back and I need to be ready. My Italian is fine now. Like if I go back to Italy, I'm good. Greece, I'd like a little bit more, but we have enough now, to be fine. But Japanese is lacking, man. I was upset. I was literally physically upset that I couldn't say more things, because usually by the time I get to a country, I have enough to say get my idea across for the most part. But in this case, couldn't with Japan. Just a few phrases. That's about it. LAX to sit on it's the city in Delta One. Very nice, Ian. Wow, very cool. Learning to only stayed at one Hilton, Waldorf Story, New York City, and talk about a mixed bag. Yeah, I mean, that's not the place. Yeah, do some other Waldorfs, do some other SLHs, like Yuri says. That's where the money is. That's the money. Yes, you can buy a guest of honor. You can buy them in our Discord, linked in the description. It's also some on eBay, stuff like that, for sure. Taipei is almost like Japan, except it's Chinese, but also not Chinese. True. Yeah, I've said it before. Well, sure, Taiwan the new Li. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, that's part of why I want to go there. Like the old China pre-Mao, and a little bit of Japanese influence. That's why I really think Taipei would be the place. I think it would be my place. Hotels in Taipei are cheaper. You can get a regional like Shangri-La for like 200 USD. Interesting. Completely forgot to go to the Taipei Pokemon store when I had a 10-hour layover. Damn, you messed up. Wow, that would have been cool. That would have been cool for sure. Miracle on Tuscan, 115K for suites. Holy crap. Anthony Senpai. Yes. Thank you, Daniel. Lee LR. What is that? What does that mean? Okay, cool. So I think we went over pretty much everything I wanted to go through. We've gone for 2.5 hours. We could definitely go more, but I think we'll settle it there, as I feel the tide's going out. I think we've gotten, to the end of it. And I guess good closing out message. Mike Doolan says, at least Hyatt gives a warning, unlike Hilton, so we can book before it happens. And that's, at the end of the day, that's all we can really hope for, is that, we will be devalued at some point, so we can get ahead of it for the future. And that, kudos to Hyatt, honestly. They haven't had a real massive change like this in a very long time. We've had devaluations and stuff, but largely ones that didn't feel as harsh. Like you take a 0.2 to a 0.5 cent per point hit or something like that. Nothing drastic. This is the most drastic, but after everything we saw in the stream, not the worst. Honestly, not the worst. And definitely the 55K range, 65, it's not deterring me from booking some of these higher end luxurious properties that otherwise we're never having access to. And while there are some cases, like we've talked about, where it's a little bit harder to earn some Hyatt, in some cases, it's also a little bit easier to earn some cases, like Rakuten built some higher welcome offers with Chase. So I think all in all, the changes are... It's a devaluation. Is it as bad as everyone thought it was going to be? I don't think so. I think when you're hitting the high end of these properties that have higher valuations anyway, like cash prices, largely those are the ones that got nerfed the highest, where you have, a lot of these higher end Japanese hotels or Paris hotels. And some of the other ones we looked at, yeah, they can be upwards of 75K a night, and that's tough. But also throughout the year, there are some that are 35K, for the same exact property. So you have a lot more of a dynamic pricing structure, but you have an ability to move and shake depending on when you're traveling throughout the year. Obviously, the popular time is going to be higher priced, but if you can move and shake by a couple days or weeks or months, you can maybe still get some really cheap stays. But for some of the lower end properties, 1 to 6, 7, honestly, is really not bad at all. Some of them have actually gone down or stayed the same. Like, actually pretty impressed with all of it. So I don't know. With all that in mind, I think largely it's a devaluation, but is it the worst that we could have possibly seen? Probably not, just considering every other property outside of the high end is largely unaffected for the most part. Does that mean that's going to stay the same in the future and they won't, do another rug pull? No. But at least for right now, while, and I would say this is a good time to check, because all the people that tried to book over the last month since we've known about these devaluations, they booked up so much availability. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them go even lower in the future as all these stays kind of get done at the lower price. So there's a lot more excess demand. Like everyone was buying houses, nobody was selling. Now there's going to be a lot more of a competitive playing field, now that the valuations are fully in effect. So we'll see what happens. Hey, Ron with the 5 spot to leave out. Matane Venture-san. Until next time. Matasta. No, I won't see you tomorrow, but I don't know how to say see you at another time, but is that matane? Is that like see you next time? But yeah. So yeah. Hey Ron, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who was live today. Shout out to everybody who came out. 2.5 hours, baby. Had a lot of fun. Hopefully I could do more lives. But thank you all. Have fun. Keep enjoying life and keep traveling. Keep enjoying it. All right. Take care. Have fun. Bye-bye. See you guys. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. Not bad.